season appearance at the Winnipeg Arena. Outside, 12 degrees below zero. Whew. We're making our way toward the opening face-off tonight between the Devils and Jets. On Wednesday night, the Devils got a scoring lift from an unlikely source. And for more on that, let's go inside the game with Doc and Doug.
Matt, thank you very much. An unlikely source this year seems to be the defense. Only 10 of the Devils' goals have been scored by defensemen, but Sean Chambers got one. Legitimately, he got two, but he only took credit for the one because the other one was taken from him. He wound up with 3 points in that game. First time in his career that he's ever done that, and his plus-minus is best among defensemen at 7.
You know, that plus-minus is really stands out in my mind because he's been going against the top lines, paired off with Scott Stevens. Again, tonight we're going to see that, going against the big line here that Winnipeg has with Kachuk on the line, and also Timo Selänne and Eddie Olczyk, who are very hot. So that plus-minus is very significant, I think, and everyone looks at the plus-minus as not being significant, but with the personality he's been going against night in, night out, I have to applaud him on his plus-minus.
Jets general manager John Paddock has always liked to have big, strong, tough teams, but his team, in terms of size compared to New Jersey, does not come up to the Devils' height, weight.
Well, definitely, and what New Jersey loves to do is throw that size at you, and they love to get physical. And Winnipeg here, they've been groomed, and the culture here is much of speed, and the size factor is not as much as the speed and skill that they have in place here. So New Jersey, if they're going to be successful, have to get in front of these guys. They have to bang them early, take them off the puck, and take away as much ice as they can, not give them any kind of room to make plays.
This is the last year, as Matt has mentioned, of the Winnipeg Jets here. The franchise will be in Phoenix next year. The music behind kind of rings hollow in terms of trying to cheer up Jet fans because they will not have a team. They might have a team in the playoffs. Take a look at the Western Conference standings. They're hanging in there pretty well. If the playoffs were to begin today, they would play the number 2 seed, which would be the Colorado Rockies. Currently, they're 3 below 500, tied with Vancouver in points for 7.
You know, in the last 10 games as well, they've only won 2 games in the last 10, and it seems to almost, and I don't think it's a coincidence, since the deal was consummated and they are going to Phoenix, there's almost an undercurrent in the Winnipeg dressing room. The players won't address it specifically, but what they feel is there's almost loss of hope. There was a lot of hope that they were going to stay here. Players wanted to stay here. They felt at home here. The fans love them, and I think that there's almost a feeling there that almost not betrayal on their part, but a feeling of not, you know, there's just something missing. I can't really put my finger on it. So
on the road, they haven't won in the last 6 games, and people we've talked to here have said just the thing you're saying, and that it's really shown more on the road than it has here at home. This is a team that has changed radically over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, but particularly this year, the one thing we noticed is they're not going with the old guys much anymore. They've got 2 new guys in the lineup that are not even 20 years of age.
That's right. On the right there, you have Derek Quinn, defenseman, big guy, he's about 6'3", 215, and also Shane Doan, the right winger, who tries to emulate Cam Neely type player. He loves watching Brendan Shanahan when he was younger. I mean, that's how young these guys are. I mean, Shanahan is no old guy. I remember when Shanahan broke in the league, of course, with the Devils, and here's guys admiring a guy like Shanahan and wants to be like him. So they have a lot of depth. They have another youngster who's also with the Canadian national junior team, just an 18-year-old defenseman. So Doig. So these are guys that are up and coming. They have a great future here in Winnipeg.
We want to mention the Albany River Rats are playing, trying to extend their streak, and they are trailing Springfield 3-2 in the second period. Springfield is the team they lost to last, way back on October 28th. The unbeaten string is 21. Matt Lachlan with more on the Sports Authority Game Time when we continue.
My mom wants me to be an accountant. I want to play football.
The Sports Authority has everything for football.
Maybe even basketball.
We got basketball, too.
Or hockey.
We've got it. Plus your favorite brand names.
And salespeople really know their stuff.
Well, the shaft of this stick is incredibly strong.
Everyday low prices mean you never wait for a sale.
You don't have to be an accountant to know you're saving money.
The Sports Authority. You've never seen anything quite like it.
Your Tri-State Quality Ford dealers proudly present the deals of the season on the cars and trucks of the year. It's the Ford year-end event. Lease a Ford Taurus for just $257 a month for 27 months with $1940 down. Redesigned inside and out, it's the best-selling car in America. Get great deals on everything, but get moving. The Ford year-end event. You guessed it, now through the end of the year. Hurry, see your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer now.
Now you can get friends and family's biggest savings by not doing anything at all. You don't have to name anyone. You automatically get our best savings whenever you call any other MCI customer.
What you're really saying is that I could sit here on my Tookus and save on my long distance, right?
You could say that.
Cool. Could you tell me where you are? I feel a little odd.
Wednesday on Sports Channel. Don't miss Ann Ligori's exclusive interview with Packers legendary QB, Bart Starr.
I was courageous and tough because I had to be, and I was not a physically talented quarterback. I had great teammates around me, but I had those other qualities which enabled me to uphold the responsibilities of my position.
Bart Starr is this week's special guest on Sharp Sports Interview with Ann Ligori. Wednesday at 6, only on Sports Channel.
Welcome back, everyone. The Devils going for their second straight win tonight. They battled the Winnipeg Jets, and we'll get you to the province of Manitoba in a moment. But first, the Tri-State Ford dealers sponsor this NHL report. At 5'6" and 160 pounds, Calgary right wing Theo Fleury has had to be tough throughout his 8-year career. But his current battle may be his toughest yet. Fleury has been diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Now, it's a non-life-threatening inflammation of the digestive tract, and he has it under control. But Fleury says, in the worst-case scenario, he'll need surgery to remove part of his bowel. Well, on New Year's Eve, the Devils will travel to Chicago. They have a New Year's Eve date with the Blackhawks. Craig Hartsburg's boys in action tonight in Buffalo. And at the Aw, they're exchanging some holiday greetings. Hi, fellas. How was your holiday? Good? Hope you enjoyed it. Rob Ray there in the middle of the scrum. First period, Blackhawks man advantage. Gary Suda cross-ice to Bernie Nichols. He scores his third of the year, and the Blackhawks take a 1-0 lead. They've now moved to the second period. Chicago maintains that advantage. The Buffalo Sabres playing tonight without Pat LaFontaine. He suffered a concussion the other night, so sitting this one out. Coming up in just a few moments, Detroit is in Dallas. The Red Wings on a 7-game winning streak. They've got 25 wins to their credit. At 9 o'clock, Toronto takes on the Avalanche in Denver. And it's Philadelphia-Calgary. That has a 9:30 start. Also at 9:30, Edmonton hosting Los Angeles. The Kings with a 7-game road losing streak. Meanwhile, at 10:30, San Jose pays a visit to the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. The Devils, of course, will take on the Winnipeg Jets, the game you'll see here on Sports Channel. The Devils winless in their last 10 games on the road. The Devils exploded for 5 goals on Wednesday. Stéphane Richer, healthy once again, scored his 7th of the year. The Devils will need him to help resuscitate a moribund offense. Well, this is the second and final meeting of the regular season between these two clubs. The Devils beat Winnipeg earlier this season 4-1. That game at the Meadowlands. The Jets, though, were without center Alexei Zhamnov. He suffered a knee injury in that game, if you remember, when a Scott Stevens check sent him to the ice. And when Keith Tkachuk was still involved in his holdout. But they're both healthy tonight, and between them, they've got 29 goals. So a test for the Devils. Meanwhile, the Devils have connected on only 2 of their last 21 power play opportunities on the road. But on Wednesday at the Meadowlands, they were successful on 2 of 4 man-up situations, so perhaps they'll be a carryover. The Devils beginning a 3-game road trip tonight. They're in Winnipeg. Final time they'll be in Manitoba, unless these two teams meet in the Stanley Cup Finals, of course. Doc Emmerich and Doug Sullivan on the call of tonight's game. We'll see you a little later on. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the game.
Game 2, warm October at New Jersey versus Winnipeg. A new guy, Steve Thomas, put the Devils up 1-0 with his first goal as a Devil. Another new guy, Dennis Peterson, got his first goal in the league. It was midway in the first, but it was the winner. Game 36, cold Wednesday at New Jersey. First 90 seconds, Devils on a power play. Sean Chambers shot it at Tommy Soderstrom of the Islanders. It was tipped. The Devils went ahead 3-0, and it looked comfortable. But the Islanders started to storm in the second. Nicholas Anderson got the third of 3 Islanders goals on a tip. 3-3 entering the third period. Then early in the third, John McLean won it. The Devils with 5 of the last 8 possible points. Game 37, Bridge in Winnipeg. Last Devils visit next. Winnipeg, Manitoba for the Devils, where the temperature today was -5 degrees. You wear a hairpiece in this town, you better have a lot of tape, because the wind blows here, too. Devils and the Jets from the Winnipeg Arena for the last time, barring any sort of miracle that would take both teams into the Stanley Cup Finals. Good evening, everyone. Along with Doug Sullivan, I'm Mike Emmerich. Well, what about those playoffs? We always rank the teams 1 through 8. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference, and it shows if the playoffs were to begin today, the Devils would be out of it, but by a hair, so plenty of opportunity for them. They are currently the 9th team out of 13 in the Eastern Conference. Their record is 2 beneath 500, 15, 17, and 4.
That's right. You know, the interesting thing, the Devils play 9 games before the All-Star break, and I believe my heart of all hearts that they can go 7-2 in those 9 games and make a run and be looking down a lot of teams that they're looking up at in the standings right now.
Well, they can go 7-2 if they keep getting a performance like they've gotten out of Neil Broughton lately.
Well, that's right. Neil Broughton, he's been their defensive man. He's been their go-to guy. He's now currently playing on the point on the power play, so the odds are 899 points going into tonight's game. He could see that magic 900 tonight.
He's been playing with John McLean on the same line all year. On a different line has been another productive Devil lately, and that is Peter Sikora.
Oh, Peter Sikora. You know, the nice thing I like about Peter Sikora, as we take a look, of course, at his statistics, is that this young man has got a tremendous attitude. Here he is coming in as a rookie, as an 18-year-old. He's performing extremely well. There's absolutely no complacency in his heart. He still feels that each and every night he has to go out and earn a spot on the team. And with that kind of attitude, you're going to see consistent performance night in, night out.
I think what we've got here are two teams that are about 180 degrees apart in approach. Winnipeg has tremendous offense, all offense. The Devils have had trouble buying goals, but they concentrate on defense. How good do Winnipeg have scorers up front? Look at it. Now, these three guys don't even play on the same line. Okachuk and Solani are together. Shamnos on another line. But look at the ages and look at the numbers.
Oh, they're young horses, and Kachuk is one of those guys. He's very physical. Not only can he put the puck in the net, but he creates a lot of opportunities for his line mates. Solani is more of a finisher. He's finished, and he is a finisher. He can put the puck in the net, and he's got tremendous speed down the wing. And Zamnov last year was quoted as saying, I can score over 100 points, 120 points in this league. Almost eating popcorn, he was almost quoted. So, and he quarterbacks the power play for them, so he's got tremendous skill. These guys are going to be tough to stop.
What about the defense now as we get to the last line of defense sponsored by GMC?
Well, in goal for, of course, New Jersey Devils, got Martin Brodeur in nets, and he's noticed that his team, I don't know if it's the ice here, it's so fast, and the guy's been skating extremely well. Passes have been very crisp. He said the high tempo is really exciting him. He's feeling very sharp. Cheveldae, on the other hand, since Abby Bouvin has been injured with a medial collateral ligament sprain, he has started the last 12 games here for the Jets, and they've got to find somehow to not give up that first and second goal. The Jets have been giving up the first and second goal, and then playing catch-up hockey from there.
Okay, the fans will be looking over Cheveldae's shoulder. So will the Queen, the big picture at the end of the ice he'll defend when we come back for the start of the game in just a moment.
Devils Hockey on Sports Channel is brought to you by Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL, by the Discover card, the card with a big payback, and by Nobody Beats the Wiz. For state-of-the-art home electronics, computers, cameras, music, movies, and more, nobody beats the Wiz.
Put on your helmet. Huh? Because this year, Bud Bowl's putting you in the game. Huh? You could win a Wilson football. Cool. Or even $1 million.
Whoa. Hey, you. Who, me? Yeah. Look, it's first down, and one of these 6 players will score. Knock it in there. Whoa. End around. That's easy.
Yeah, just got to get by us. Pick up your $1 million play card where you buy Bud, Bud Light, and Bud Ice.
He's fine. Cupcake, I got 5 more plays. Get up.
This Saturday and Sunday only, in every Nobody Beats the Wiz store, all open box merchandise is on sale. Save 10 to 60% on thousands of TVs and VCRs, thousands of audio components and camcorders, thousands of cameras, portables, and computers. All brand new and all on sale. These are brand new, undamaged, unused displays or demos, some repaired, and they're all on sale. This Saturday and Sunday only, save 10 to 60% on open box merchandise. Nobody beats the Wiz.
During the Nissan National Clearance, we're teaching all our salespeople to say,
yes! Yes!
For just about anything. Say you want to lease a Nissan Altima for 0 down.
With enthusiasm, yes! Yes!
And let's say you want payments of $219 a month.
Yes!
Or maybe you want 0% financing on any Nissan Altima.
Yes!
And you want to take your time.
no!
Right. The Nissan National Clearance ends January 2nd.
Continental Airlines. Now among the best in the business at handling your baggage.
Sports Channel in January starts a new year of great sports action. The Devils and Islanders face off against the Bruins, Sabres, Kings, and Avalanche in over 20 exclusive games. The NBA heats up on Sports Channel when the Nets tip off against the Hornets, Lakers, Rockets, and many more. Catch exclusive Big East basketball matchups featuring Seton Hall, UConn, Rutgers, and Georgetown. Halls of Fame profiles NBA legend Bill Walton. It's all coming your way in January only on Sports Channel.
Back here again at Winnipeg Arena. Let's take a look at the scratch report for tonight, Doug.
Well, for the Devils, we have Rickard Pearson, who was called up. He's a healthy scratch. Tommy Avalon, of course, nursing that thigh injury. Jocelyn Lemieux hurt his shoulder last game. Breland and Reed Simpson also out for the Devils. For the Jets, the only unhealthy scratch right there is Dallas Drake, who has a strained Achilles tendon for the Winnipeg Jets. All others are healthy scratches.
A native son of Winnipeg, Andy Van Hellemond is the referee tonight. Only the second time this year that the Devils have seen him. Don Henderson and Mark Wheeler are the linesmen. The Devils start out with the defense combination of Danico and Dean, Broughton, Zelapukin, and McLean up front. Jamnoff, Korolev, and Doan, the forwards for the Winnipeg Jets. Dave Manson and Norm McIver, one-time New York Ranger and up until earlier this week, a Pittsburgh Penguin. He is back on defense and just hands the puck over to Manson. Manson then on to Shane Doan, the 19-year-old, hit soundly by Zelapukin. Bouncing puck controlled by Dean. And then to Manson. Tipped further, and Broughton goes back to play it. Neil Broughton banging it back off for McLean. Stood up by the checking of Manson so that Doan can whip it back in. A shift change. Terry Simpson has made his first call, and off the ice come the five that started. Bouncing puck went off Bobby Carpenter. Manson sees it played back on for Kachuk. Lost to Ralston. Fires, and a good save by Cheveldae on a bullet by Ralston. It is gloved away from Richer, but then rolled around behind by Eddie Olczyk. Kachuk took care of Richer so that the puck can be played back out, but off Solani. Scott Stevens rips it right back in. Cheveldae stopping that one, and it's Manson once more. Glad you've joined us tonight on Sports Channel. Nothing, the Jets and the Devils, game 37 of the season. For the New Jersey Devils, Kachuk moving in. Kachuk fed it off for a shot by Olczyk that went off of Martin Brodeur. So Martin's first save of the night comes from very close range. Olczyk puts it back in. This has been the most productive line that the Jets have had lately. Solani working with Kachuk and Olczyk, and they are now in the midst of a change. The puck came to Teppo Numminen, who flipped it back. Chambers back out. Quint saw it go off him. Thomas comes by. Sikora wraps up Quint, and it's back to Chambers, but off of Shannon. Shannon rolled one behind that Chambers took. Able to bang it back away from Eastwood, but back up the boards Numminen. Played it back off for Shannon again. Shannon checked by Sikora behind. Eastwood up with it, then back on for a play to be made by Mike Stapleton. Loose puck went all the way back down the ice. Jeff Finley, one-time New York Islander, takes that on the tap from Cheveldae. So non-stop action thus far. 2 minutes and 18 seconds have passed, with only one shot on goal for the Devils and one for Winnipeg. Stu Malgunas cranks it back in, handled by Brodeur, played along by Smith. Worked back up now by Niedermeyer. Scott Niedermeyer lugging it ahead, wanting to step by Finley. Yanked a pass back for Thomas. Coming by is Randy McKay to keep play alive. Niedermeyer working in deep, wanted Holik, but the pass goes astray. Randy McKay tried to take care of Malgunas, to a side battling the boards. Emerging is Holik, but Malgunas right on him. Puck trickled behind to McKay. Randy McKay has Peluso in front, and the shot popped behind to McKay again. Jammed in front. Peluso, a backhander save made by Cheveldae, and it's brushed back out by Gillen. Oh, close call there for the crash line. Wrapped on around Chris King, takes the shoulder of Mike Peluso. Jammed back up by Bobby Holik and brought on by Peluso. Mike Peluso with a 70-footer that's deflected into the seats, and play is stopped. On the Modell scoreboard, early stages of our game, that is scoreless.
What a week! It's the Chrysler Plymouth Buyer's Choice Drive Away. Right here, right now. It's time to hurry to your Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. Now you can get a Plymouth Neon with automatic transmission for only $95.95. It's your choice. Get $500 cash back or get 1.9% financing. What a week! The Chrysler Plymouth Buyer's Choice Drive Away. Right here, right now. Save on Plymouth Neon. Only at your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if you can only get a cab. Team needs new jerseys. Person has to deliver them overnight. Goes to post office. Finds express mail is a smart solution. Guarantees delivery. Jerseys arrive on time. Person avoids getting sacked.
I'll be watching here as Winnipeg Jets have Eddie Olczyk, Keith Tkachuk, and Teemu Selanne up on front. That's their offensive power that they've had. You watch the defensemen, the Jersey Devils, be making a quick change on the fly, probably getting Scott Stevens and Sean Chambers out.
We always try to make a guess at the crowd for you in the early stages of the game. This looks like it may be one of the better Jets crowds of the year. Of course, with the lame duck status that they have on the move for Phoenix at the end of the playoffs, why it's understandable that the attendance would be down. It certainly is. The best crowd they had was in the 14,000 range for a game with Montreal. It was 14,321 on December 12th. But they are above 10,000 tonight. Tkachuk flips one in front. Oh, and a backhander by Manson went wide. And 10,000 has been rare here this year. So angle back off now for Tkachuk. Tkachuk has a duel on his hands, but rolled it around to Olczyk. Tried to work it back in front, thrown away by Stevens. Richer couldn't get it by Tkachuk. Off of Richer, knocked loose by Manson. Follow up from Stevens. Lays it on now for Richer. Stefan Richer tapped it back in deep. Chip change on for New Jersey. Broughton and Zelapukin and John McClain have come out. Danico and Dean, the defense. So it's the same five that started the game in front of Martin Brodeur. Dean had a little trouble there, rammed into by Shane Doan. Follow-up comes from Quint. Off of Dean and back deep. We had mentioned in the pregame that one of the things that Winnipeg lacks is average size back on defense, and part of that came from the deal. Neil Wilkinson is big. Norm McIver is not, and that was the trade. McIver at 5'10", 180. And so that brought the average of the 6 defensemen in the lineup, and that's how we figure those heights and weights for you. Offside is called. But what Norm McIver does bring is a great deal of skill back on the point on their power play.
That's right. He may not be big physically, but he is big skill-wise. And I'll tell you, they need someone here to help get something going on the power play, the special teams. Terry Simpson has been quoted saying that the magic 500 mark is very key for this team and crucial. And the farther below that mark they fall, the tougher it is to make up those lost games. And it's something he's trying to get the team going again here and make hay while they can.
I would guess in a 15,000-seat arena that we would have about 12,000 here right now, which would be, by my count, the 3rd largest crowd that they would have had this season. Here is Numminen, flinging it back, and it's walked in by Eastwood. Eastwood hooked at by Niedermeyer, and just enough to foil the play, and then a shot went off Brodeur. The shot coming across the net mouth from Mike Stapleton. It is Sikora starting it ahead to Bill Guerin. He's got to step on Numminen. Bill Guerin moving in. Numminen put the wedge into him. Guerin still trying to play it, but goes down. Numminen kicks, and it is controlled by Darren Shannon.
And Numminen has been logging about 30 minutes a game. He's one of the most underrated defensemen in the game right now. He could be one of the top 10.
Here's Eastwood sending one off the back of his own net. Guerin just chips it back out. Stu Malgunas takes over. Back on across to Jeff Finley. Tapped in by Big Jim McKenzie. Niedermeyer just thrown right down by a hit from McKenzie. Trickled around behind by Randy Gillen. Gillen lost it, though. Sped back out by Holik, kept by Malgunas. Angled back off, Gillen after it. Holik right on him again. Niedermeyer tries the other way. Finley there to get that one. Hurried it along, and it came to Niedermeyer. Good forechecking by the Jets. Devils trying to break it, but they cannot yet. Guerin just lobs it out now. Malgunas chips it back ahead. So territorially, the Jets have had this thus far. 6 1/4 minutes have been played. 3 shots apiece. Tkachuk Out there, passed one along that's taken back up by Holik. Shift change on for New Jersey. Holik trying to work his way by the defense, but McIver says no. So Norm McIver, wearing number 44, plays it on to Manson, and then it's quickly to Solani. Solani bumped off, but Kachuk carries in. Kachuk trying to get loose. Fed one across the net mouth wide, and it's chipped back out again by Niedermeyer. 1-0, the Blackhawks ahead of Buffalo. Second period of their game. Detroit underway in Dallas. No score. It is McLean moving in. Flips one across the net mouth, and a save by Cheveldae on Zelepukin. Tim Cheveldae has been splendid in goal. One close play from Mike Peluso's stick, and then this one from Zelepukin. And play is stopped. 12:58 to go. First period of our game. On the Modell scoreboard. Devils nothing. Jets nothing.
Put on your helmet. Because this year, Bud Bowl's putting you in the game. You could win a Wilson football. Cool. Or even $1 million.
Whoa. Hey, you. Who, me? Yeah. Look, it's first down, and one of these 6 plays will score. Knock it in there. Whoa. End around. That's easy.
Yeah, just got to get by us. Pick up your $1 million play card where you buy Bud, Bud Light, and Bud Ice.
He's fine. Cupcake, I got 5 more plays. Get up.
Welcome to the celebration, your Buick dealer's 1996 savings celebration. Buick starts the new model year off right with introductory savings on all the new 96s, including Century, one of the best overall values in its class, with award-winning Buick quality and roomy comfort for 6. Now, Century is a better value than ever. Get more car for less money. Come to your Buick dealer's 1996 savings celebration. On now.
Hey, during this break, True Devil fans will be taking to the ice. Bud Ice. Smooth pace that goes down easy. Bud Ice, proud sponsor of the coolest game on earth.
The Jets have won 1 of their last 5 games and 2 of the last 10. This after a very strong start. They have lost the last 6 away from home. And observers that we've seen have said that the team just has had a number of letdowns away from home. At home, they play much better, and Doug had intimated that they're starting to really have some problems from a mental standpoint because of the move. That was a tremendous opportunity by Ralston that was saved by Cheveldae. Stevens got down to cut off. Well, he was able to get the icing. Like for a moment, it might have been knocked away from him, but Stevens did get there first, and so icing was called, and they bring it back near Tim Cheveldae. Boy, Brian Ralston with a wonderful chance just now.
You know, I get a sense that while he's on the ice, that he does not want to come out of this lineup, and I think that he's been in, he's been out, and he understands that there have to be changes made occasionally, but he doesn't want to be the guy. He's really had it. I think he's coming out here tonight, and just from what I've seen early, he's been skating, he's been jumping into the play. You saw there he had a good scoring chance, and I think if he starts to go in, he'll have his wish.
He was scratched in 4 of the last 5 games coming into tonight. Brought in on this draw with Eastwood. Numanen, and around to Quint. Quint, the 19-year-old defenseman, run off by Zelepukin. Zelepukin able to take it away. Quint right on him, gives him a little shove. Right near Andy Van Helleman, he had to swing it around. Cheveldae stops it behind. Numanen steps to that one. And back off. Dean there, boy, Zhamnov was doing a little cherry picking, hoping it came to him. Danico just pitches it back over to the other circle to Dean. Now up to Zelepukin. Valeri Zelepukin with a pass, knocked away by Numanen. Zhamnov after that one. McLean with it there. Then back on to Zelepukin. Zelepukin trying to get by, but a wall of Jets were there, and one of them took him down and got caught at it. Looks like it'll be Korolev coming off the ice on the hook. And the Devils will get the power play.
That's right, and the Devils' power play has been a little better. They've been getting a lot of chances as you watch Korolev head to the penalty box. Take a look here. You're going to see it. Focus on number 23 here, right in the middle of your screen. He puts the hook from behind. That's Scotty Niedermeyer, who was driving into the zone. That was, Zelepukin from the front. It looked like Scotty Niedermeyer. Boy, he was really exploding up there. I'll tell you, Zelepukin, with that tremendous lateral movement that he has, he can change from 10 feet from the right to 10 feet to the left in 2 strides, and Korolev had to pull him down from behind. Tremendous explosive power.
The hook to Korolev at 8:13. Devils power play in the last 4 games has had at least a goal. It's 6 for its last 25, and that's splendid. But here comes King in a shorthand situation. King with a shot guided away by Martin Brodeur. Get a chance to talk with Chris King at the end of the first period of our contest tonight. Niedermeyer connects back onto Thomas, then hands to Sikora. Sikora for a drive score! Bill Guerin with a power play goal, ripped it into the net, and it's 1-0 in favor of the Devils.
That was a tremendous shot by Billy Guerin. I'm going to tell you just one time that there was such a nice soft pass that was laid out for him. And, you know, it's one of those odd goals that the Devils, we don't see too many of these goals on a rush. Watch this great pass here. Peter Sikora sees him coming in, just lays it back, and Guerin one-times it. A lot of speed coming through that zone, and that's what happened. Billy Guerin, with a lot of speed and a nice soft pass, got his whole body behind it, and Cheveldae couldn't react to it. It was almost halfway to the net by the time it went in. And the Devils showing some offensive prowess here on the rush. One of those rare goals. Generally, they have to work so hard to get something.
Bill Guerin's 4th power play goal of the year. All 4 have come in the last 5 games. It's his 9th goal of the year overall from Sikora. Maybe another assist we'll get for you at 8:36 of the period. So the Devils get on the board first. And as is his custom, Jacques Lemaire goes to the crash line right after the goal. Steve Thomas got the other assist. Here's Holik cranking one right into Cheveldae. Loose pucks fed away by Cheveldae. Peluso around behind now for Randy McKay. Helping out is Holik. Gave it to McKay. Out in front. Tried to stop her. Tried another one. And the net dislodged behind Tim Cheveldae. Well, Cheveldae was huge against St. Louis last Saturday with 36 saves and a 2-1 win, and he's been strong tonight, but he doesn't have a lot of help.
That's right, and he can't do it all himself. And I'm going to tell you, take a look in the eyes of Randy McKay right here. This is what I'm sensing around the locker room these last couple of games. If you see the focus and the determination, it's almost a business-like manner that has been missing here for about a month and a half, 2 months. And when I first came in here and started doing this, the color here to talk to you folks at home, there was a business-like manner that the Devils went about every single game in training camp in the first part of the season, and I sense that it's coming back here.
Well, that's good news, Doug. You mentioned you felt that the way things were going that they might be able to take 7 of the next 9. We'll get to that in a moment. Here with it is Mike Stapleton on for Shannon in a shot that went wide. Around it came to McIver. Flipped one that's gloved down by Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer taps it ahead. Bill Guerin moving on with his shot. Fought off by Cheveldae. Cheveldae jams it to the corner. Thomas with it there. Thomas and McIver test for possession. Still they battle, and it came to Peter Sikora. Sikora right back for Thomas. Feathered one through the legs for Guerin. Guerin worked over pretty well by Manson, though. So it is Shannon bringing it back up ice. That's Darren Shannon, 34. Daryl Shannon is 24. The brothers. Puck played back across now for Bill Guerin again. Guerin with a pass that clicked off of Zelepukin, muscled off, punched loose by Cheveldae. Puck finessed around by Zelepukin to Broughton, feathered one that had to be turned aside by Cheveldae. And Cheveldae seems to be accustomed to doing quite a bit back there.
Well, Cheveldae has been carrying the load. Again, he started the last 12 games since Habibulin, excuse me, went out with the MCL injury. And Cheveldae, after coming over from Detroit, has been in and out of the lineup and trying to really find his rhythm that he's so successful in Detroit earlier in his career. And you're right, you do need a lot of help up front, and the Devils have been getting, I'm noticing the Devils, the shots and chances they're getting have been prime scoring opportunities.
Broughton will try to create another in this face-off with Alexei Zhamnov. Right in on goal. Cheveldae sweeps. Old check to get it. Hammered by Zelepukin. They continue to work the wall. Zelepukin and Old check. You really underestimate Zelepukin's strength until you see plays like that. And also his resilience, the way that he checks people. I mean, he puts the body into several guys a game. When you wind up with as many games in short order, this is 3 and 5 for the Devils. That takes a toll, but it never seems to show on him. Here's John McLean up with it. A shot went off Cheveldae. Rebound around behind, off of Broughton. Still they battle for it. Bouncing puck sent over for Quint. Quint pursued by John McLean. Quint with a pass on that is taken by Zhamnov and handed over for a tap back out to Korolev. 8 minutes, 50 seconds to go, first period. The goal, Guerin from Sikora and Steve Thomas on the power play at 8:36. They try to get it to Jamnoff. That fails from Doan. Back up come the Devils. They've got a 3-on-2. Ralston moves in and fires in a save. Cheveldae. Rebound scooped off the wall and back down.
Jets are going to have their hands full if they continue to turn the puck over at the offensive zone, just as that one. And Kevin Dean moved the puck up ice quickly. And the Devils are doing what they do best, counterattacking.
Here's Solani on a counterattack with a shot that's deflected into the seats by Ken Danico. The shots are 12-4 New Jersey. The Devils have the lead on the Modell scoreboard by a score of 1-0.
Yo, Mr. College Basket. You just saw a TV score update and your worries are over.
What are you, some kind of bozo? Sure you know the score, but do you know how much time's left? It's not a win. The game's a maybe. And if you don't know game time remaining, you don't know how much to worry. And worry is important. You can't win without worry.
Call Sports Phone. We'll tell you game time remaining, so you can worry. 976-1313. College Basket. Game time remaining. Just 40 cents.
If you're a golf fanatic, join the club, Club Golf. Every week, you can tour the world's finest golf resorts, preview new equipment, and get tips that will improve your game. Sports Channel Club Golf, every Saturday and Monday. Coming up, New Year's Eve on Sports Channel. The Islanders collide with Pat LaFontaine and Buffalo. On New Sport, Jacques Lemaire's Devils battle the Blackhawks in Chicago. Celebrate New Year's with great NHL action, only on Sports Channel.
Is that tie alive? Look at that.
Boy.
Well, it'll be Olczyk stepping in the face-off with Broughton. Arizona has a team called the Diamondbacks coming into professional sports. When the Jets get there, that'll make the Phoenix area the 11th city in the U.S. to have all 4 major teams. Broughton trying to get to the front. That has swept away. Boy, oh boy, I can sure see why Cheveldae could be a very frustrated guy. The chances the Devils are getting, they've put one of them away. Let's check out the league leaders brought to you by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Teemu Solani is tied with Mark Messier, 51 points. That is for the Art Ross Trophy. Mario Lemieux is averaging almost 3 points a game.
It's unbelievable, and the thing you notice with Mario Lemieux is the fact he's not taking those back-to-back games off anymore. I think he feels it. He can sense it. He's got a shot at the, I would think, Wayne Gretzky's record of 200-plus points. One miraculous season that he had there in Edmonton, and I don't doubt that he's shooting for it.
Well, he and Yager are projected in the neighborhood of 150 goals apiece. Or, not a piece, but 150 goals total.
Wow.
Well,
wow.
If he plays every game, they might have a shot at 150 apiece, too. But here is McIver bringing it back up ice. McIver with a pass ahead now to Mike Stapleton. Stapleton couldn't get it to the front. Instead, the Devils start it back up. Bill Guerin with a pass, back checked away by Eastwood, but taken by Jason Smith. Away from Niedermeyer. Brought back in by Eastwood. Eastwood, Niedermeyer. And Niedermeyer emerges after quite a battle. Thomas connects off of Guerin's skate back for Jason Smith. Smith cruising in, but Guerin over early, and so offside stops the clock. Still 12 shots to 4. Bill Guerin's goal, the only one in this contest so far.
And I was kidding Smitty before the game. Jason Smith, as we watch him skate to the bench, he's got 1 goal this year. Guess who it's against? Winnipeg Jets.
Did he describe it for you? I know you remember it. It was a long toss into an empty net. But it was his first, and it's his only.
Yeah. He said, I own this team. I'm due.
Especially if Cheveldae leaves for an extra attacker late. Olik on the draw with Gillen. And it's Malgunas across. Finley connects back up with McKenzie. Dean held him up a little bit. It is Holik speeding it back around, but it's Chris King taking over there. King fed one in front, and that shanked off of Gillen, chased down by Finley. 7 minutes to go in the first period of our contest. King taps it ahead, but Danico with the read there, right back on for Mike Peluso, shouldered with Finley. Malgunas back to playing on defense for Winnipeg. McKay took care of him. Puck came off of Dean. Gillen flipped it further. Kevin Dean banged it back off. McKay with a curl. Randy McKay out of Michigan Tech, just Slithers it back in off the corner boards. Fed around by Chevelday. McKenzie there to take it away from Peluso and starts back up to Gillen. Gillen has King on the wing, can't get it to him. Given up to Danico. Ken Danico bringing it right back ahead. Danico cranks a shot. Stopped by Chevelday. Tantalizing rebound for a moment. Ralston nudged off by Numanen and held to the corner. Jamnoff wants to seal it up. You can tell Richer wants to knock it away. The seal failed, and he had to pass. Came on now to King. And too far for Doan and down for an icing touch-up that will come from Niedermeyer. 5:58 to go in this opening frame. Devils are 2-1-1 in their last 4. This is the best stretch that they've had during the month of December. Some of it helped by the fact that Stéphane Richer is back from that injury.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Stéphane Richer just loves this ice surface. This is one of the nicest sheets of ice in the game. And he said, boy, if I could skate on this ice my whole career, it'd be scary. He just eats it up. He's so fast and so powerful. He said, not only do you skate faster, but the puck seems to jump off your stick that much quicker. And Martin Brodeur was talking about that earlier, about the 2 practices that they've had in this building, how quick the passes are and how they've been snapping the puck and the jump that has been coming from the team that he's been watching. The practices have been very spirited.
Off the face-off, puck taken by Carpenter, laid around behind. Chevelday sweeps it back the other way. Solani there. Through Olczyk to Tkachuk. But Stevens. Some of the fans getting on Tkachuk. Perhaps not for the misplay, but perhaps also for the fact that he is the most highly paid of the Jets, and they expect an awful lot. Here is Solani trying to get through. Poke checked away by Brodeur. And it is Olczyk flinging it around behind, around near Solani. Solani checked by Scott Stevens. Stevens has lost his stick, but regains. Thrown right in on Brodeur by Tkachuk, and play is stopped. Keith Tkachuk, when he first entered the league, coming off the United States Olympic team, was not doing quite so well financially as he is now. He was making $250,000. He's up to $6 million. $250 to $6 million in 4 years. I guess the second year he'd need to get an accountant real fast.
Man, oh man.
His nickname is Reg, for Reggie Dunlop from Slapshot. Oh, I saw him. He came in to pose for a picture for us tonight that we needed for our setup, and I forgot to call him Reg. I should have said, there's scouts in the building tonight. Puck pitched wide, over for Zelapukin, and back out. So McIver takes it on the defense for Winnipeg. Clock ticks down to 5 minutes to go, first period. Off the glove of Scott Stevens. Tkachuk moving in, but it is Jamnoff tapping it along. Puck came back to the point. McIver with it there, rattled it around for Doan. Doan couldn't come up with it. Still they battle. And it's frozen for a stoppage of play. We'll return to Winnipeg Arena. Winnipeg, Manitoba, in just a moment.
This Saturday and Sunday only, in every Nobody Beats the Wiz store, all open box merchandise is on sale. Save 10 to 60% on thousands of TVs and VCRs, thousands of audio components and camcorders, thousands of cameras, portables, and computers. All brand new and all on sale. These are brand new, undamaged, unused displays or demos, some repaired, and they're all on sale. This Saturday and Sunday only, save 10 to 60% on open box merchandise. Nobody beats the Wiz.
During the Nissan National Clearance, we're teaching all our salespeople to say,
yes! Yes!
for just about anything. Say you want to lease a Nissan Altima for $0 down.
With enthusiasm, yes! Yes!
And let's say you want payments of $219 a month.
Yes!
Or maybe you want 0% financing on any Nissan Altima.
Yes!
And you want to take your time.
No!
Right. The Nissan National Clearance ends January 2nd.
Neil Broughton, 1 point from 900. He'll be our guest at the end of the second period of our contest tonight. Matched up with John McLean for the last 20 games. And at the outset of the season, too, there was a period of time when they were not playing together, but they're a penalty-killing unit. They're just like hand and glove out there.
That's right. They seem to have a sixth sense about each other, and they do a lot of talking on the ice, just subtle talking.
Sikora into the glove of Chevelday. Sped back around, and it is played by Stapleton back up for Darren Shannon. Then Newmanen. Newmanen bringing it in and bounced one off the leg of Thomas that was on goal. Fed back behind, trying to stuff it in front of Shannon. Stood up by Dean. Help came from Sikora, and they started back. Steve Thomas bringing it ahead. Thomas back over now for Sikora. Quint on him. Centering pass. Turned around shot by Garrett. He hit the post. Played back along by Stapleton. Stapleton with a second opportunity, and it is off Thomas. Boy, oh boy, the Devils just keep on the attack.
This line for the Devils, the Sikora, Guerin, and Thomas line has been really effective here, getting a lot of scoring opportunities.
Quint wrapped it around. Brodeur stopped it. And then Niedermeyer. Scott Niedermeyer plays it back up the wing for McKay. Right back on for Mike Peluso. Peluso tried to get by, bounced it off Finley. Poked away by Chevelday. Finley and Holik battle the boards. Peluso comes by 2. Trying to joust it away from them, but it is pulled loose. Controlled back up now by Randy Gillen. Pass went off McKenzie. Niedermeyer. But then Gillen. Gillen in his 3rd stint with the Winnipeg Jets. He is much traveled, but he must be much wanted because he's been with several teams. Played along now by Jason Smith. Worked over a couple of times by Chris King. Holik put it around behind. Niedermeyer stood up. Hard check by the captain, Chris King. Back ahead with it comes Randy McKay. Big drive, and it went off the glass. Hustling in is Niedermeyer. Shift change on for New Jersey. That's why you see quite a few white suits out there and not many red. King. And bounced back near Chambers. Threw it off, hoping for Niedermeyer, but it's all check with a shot. Shrugged off by Brodeur. Rebound in front, and it's tapped away by the defense. Devils nearly got caught on that one. Zelepukin trying to bring it on. Wants to get through Manson. Zelepukin taken down on the play. Kachuk up with it. Roars back out for the Jets. He's got Solani along with him. Keith Kachuk wanting to go by Stevens. Kachuk puts on the break. Sets up for McIver. Knocked down in front. And the Devils now on the attack. It's John McLean moving up ice with it. He's got Broughton nearby and put one in on Chevelday. So now Manson. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first period. Olczyk plopped it back in. Brodeur stopped for Stevens. Another change brings on Brian Ralston's line. Ralston with Carpenter and Richer. Looked like a pass over 2 lines, but nonetheless it's Olczyk on back. Did you notice my striped shirt here, Doug?
Yes, you're doing a fine job.
Thank you.
Fine job.
Right back in now for Chambers. Chambers controlling. That's 2 games in a row. Last time I had the orange armbands, too. Pass in front to Richer. Backhander is fought off by Chevelday. Now it's Ralston. Ralston sealed by Quint. Coming by is Jamnoff to roll it back over for Newmanen. 90 seconds to go in the period. Danico there, flipped one. Ralston trying to chase it down, but it's Doan sweeping it back. Dean connects with the turning Richer. Richer lobbed one off Jamnoff, and it's Korolev. Now Malgunas, and back in. Danico and Dean, the defense tandem for the Devils on this shift. Guerin and Sikora and Steve Thomas up front. Doan working with Korolev and Jamnoff, and in back Malgunas and Finley for Winnipeg. On comes Dean, cranks a shot off a defenseman's stick, tapped away by Chevelday. Thomas with it there, but he gave it up to Malgunas. Little tap, and Jamnoff flies ahead. Moving on with Shane Doan. Jamnoff back. Finley a shot, and it went wide. Poked on ahead for Bill Guerin to take. They've got another 3-on-2. Niedermeyer hands over to Sikora. Back for Niedermeyer, but off his stick. Chased off by Finley. Puck rattled around, and Smith will take a neutral ice. Jason Smith cranked it right back in off the glass. So Malgunas to play this in the last 24. Korolev and out. Ricocheted off the linesman to go right in on Brodeur. Niedermeyer with that one. Bangs it over for Zelepukin. Taken by Darren Shannon. Smith again. Eastwood after him. Made him pay. Eastwood around behind. Goes down. Niedermeyer up with it. Bouncing puck, Mike Stapleton. But the horn beats any further Jets offensive. 16 shots to 8 Devils. 1-0, they lead after 1.
The Devils did a great job, and you know, it's nice to have Bobby Carpenter back in the lineup. They can put Carpenter or Neil Broughton against the top line, that Olczyk line for the Devils, and the Devils look very sharp. A lot of crisp passing, skating extremely well. They seem very focused and playing with a lot of intensity, and giving this man here a lot of protection, Martin Brodeur.
Brodeur, 8 for 8 in shots in the period. The Devils have the lead after the first 21-0. Let's go back to our Sports Authority Game Time studios and Matt Laughlin.
Doc, 2 New York teams are without their centers tonight. Pat LaFontaine is sitting out the Sabres game with Chicago, while Patrick Ewing is not in uniform for the Knicks. We'll tell you more about their absences here during our first intermission. But before we do that, we're going to step aside, then it's back to Winnipeg, where Chris King will join Doc and Doug in the studio. After one period of play, the Devils lead the Jets 1-0.
Devils Hockey on Sports Channel is brought to you in part by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer and by MetLife. Get Met, it pays.
Right here, right now, this is where you want to be.
Everything's new at your Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. Even new ways to save. Now get 0 down and no payments for 90 days on every new car and minivan in stock. Or choose our biggest cashback ever. Or our lowest APR. Or get our lowest lease rates.
Right here, right now, this is where you want to be.
Announcing no money down and no payments for 90 days. See your local dealer.
Are you lost in a financial jungle? What you need is someone who knows the ropes. Someone you can count on for advice and financial information. MetLife can help you take risks and help you make sense of it all. Get Met. It pays.
You have 2 sides. Your emotional side would love a cellular phone to stay in touch with family, friends, and tow trucks. Your rational side says, no way, we can't afford it. Well, look at this, both of you. It's Talk Along Cellular Service from Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile. It's just $14.99 a month. You get free local weekend airtime, a Nokia phone for $39.99, plus call now with your credit card and there's no activation fee. Get yourself together. Call for Talk Along now, only from Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile.
Coming up January 9th, when the Devils take on the St. Louis Blues, all fans in attendance will take home a Devils Sports Cup sponsored by Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages and the Devils. This insulated roadmate with no-spill lid is perfect for Devils tailgating parties. Tickets are available at the arena box office and all Ticketmaster ticket outlets. That's Devils Sports Cup night, Tuesday, January 9th at 7:35 p.m. 1-0 New Jersey at the end of the first period of our contest tonight from Winnipeg Arena in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and it's a pleasure to call in Chris King, the captain of the Winnipeg Jets. Chris, your thoughts on the first period of our game?
Well, we came off a disappointing loss last night and got in late, but we wanted to, we knew it was going to be a battle. Teams are very similar in the standings as well as the game plan, and I thought the play was fought in the corners, and we wanted to be the stronger of that, and for the most part, except for the power play goal, I thought both teams worked pretty hard.
Head coach Terry Simpson has talked about that magic 500 level as being very important to the psychological aspect of the team. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, obviously, being 3 games above 500 about a month ago and cruising along quite nicely, we felt we were ready to take that next step after not performing to our expectations over the previous 2 seasons, and we found ourselves in some injury problem and started to slide a little bit. We realized we're right in the thick of things, but I think the division and the conference is so tight that a 500 team is going to be in the playoffs at the end, and we certainly that's been our goal from day one.
Chris, is morale a difficulty with all of the situation around the team and the move, of course, to Phoenix coming up? As captain, does that present a challenge to you each game?
Well, if you understand the situation here in Winnipeg over the last 2 seasons, we've been faced with a lot of different unknowns in the team moving, the final sale, the team trying to be kept here, then the closing time on the change, and the different cities that we possibly were going. Now now. That's all final. For the most part, I think the guys have done a pretty good job of keeping the politics of the game out of the dressing room. And I mean, I'd be lying if I said it didn't weigh on our shoulders a little bit. But I mean, we're professionals. We're asked to play hockey through a lot of ups and downs, and this is just something that we have to fight through.
And Chris, playing against the Devils, with the Devils coming in here tonight, any old feelings that come to rise with that intense rivalry after playing across the river there for a few years?
Yeah, we certainly had some great battles with the Devils when I was with the Rangers, and a lot of similarities. I mean, in personnel, as far as the Devils, they haven't changed a heck of a lot in 3 years, but I mean, we're in a little bit of a bind right now as far as our team goes. We're playing inconsistent, so I don't really think it would matter who was in here tonight, whether it be the Devils or any other team in the league. We have to start playing consistent, and it's up to guys like myself and some of the other grinders to bring forward what we bring, and our goal scorers to score and our skaters to skate. We can do that as a unit. We're a pretty good hockey team.
Well, judging from the hits you leveled in the first period, you're there, Chris. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Pleasure talking to you guys.
Chris King, captain of the Winnipeg Jets, our guest here at the end of the first period. It's the Devils 1 and the Jets nothing. And Matt Lachlan after this.
Now you can get friends and family's biggest savings by not doing anything at all. You don't have to name anyone. You automatically get our best savings whenever you call any other MCI customer.
What you're really saying is that I could sit here on my Tookus and save on my long distance, right?
You could say that.
Cool. Could you tell me where you are? I feel a little odd.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if you can only get a cab. Team needs new jerseys. Person has to deliver them overnight. Goes to post office. Finds express mail is a smart solution. Guarantees delivery. Jerseys arrive on time. Person avoids getting sacked.
Devils Hockey on Sports Channel is brought to you in part by Nissan. It's time to expect more from a car.
During the Nissan National Clearance, we're teaching all our salespeople to say
Yes! Yes!
for just about anything. Say you want to lease a Nissan Maxima with 0 down.
With enthusiasm.
Yes! Yes!
And let's say you want payments of just $299 a month.
Yes!
Or maybe you want a Pathfinder for 0 down and $299 a month.
Yes!
And you want to take your time.
No!
Right. The Nissan National Clearance ends January 2nd.
After one period of play, the Devils have a 1-0 lead over the Jets, and our first intermission update is brought to you by the Meadowlands Racetrack. Buffalo center Pat LaFontaine suffered a concussion on Wednesday night against Ottawa, so he's sitting out tonight's game against Chicago. And hardly anybody sat out this scrum. Oh, happy holidays to the boys. First period, Blackhawks man up. Gary Suter cross-ice to Bernie Nichols. Little lollipop over John Blue, 1-0 Blackhawks. Sabres get even in the second on two-man advantage. Chris Chelios the shot from the point. Tony Amonte in front to deflected home. Right now it's 2-1 in the second. In the first period, Detroit and Dallas are scoreless. Elsewhere tonight in the NHL, first period, no score between Toronto and Colorado. Coming up at 9:30, Calgary entertains Philadelphia. Los Angeles travels to Edmonton, and a 10:30 start for Anaheim against San Jose. The Knicks are in action tonight against Washington, but they're playing without Patrick Ewing. He suffered a sprained ankle last night against Cleveland, and boy, oh boy, did they miss him. They lost last night to the Cavs, and right now in the fourth, they trail the Washington Bullets 95-83. Liddell Eccles pacing the way for the Bullets with 20. Anthony Mason also has 20 points for the Knicks. Bill Guerin has the lone goal for the Devils, a power play goal at that. Maybe that power play is starting to heat up for New Jersey. After one, the Devils lead the Jets by a score of 1-0.
What you're about to learn may excite you, because the fact is it will help increase performance. I'm talking about Gulf, 93-octane super unleaded gasoline. It's quality you won't find from every major brand. Gulf's Advent 21 formula keeps fuel injectors clean and helps your car run better than ever before. So switch for the life of your car. You know the name. Go Gulf.
Welcome to the celebration, your Buick dealer's 1996 savings celebration. Buick starts the new model year off right with introductory savings on all the new 96s, including the Sabre, the best-selling full-size car in America with award-winning Buick quality and luxurious family comfort for 6. Now, the Sabre is a better value than ever. Get more car for less money. Come to your Buick dealer's 1996 savings celebration. On now.
You've dreamed about it your whole life. Now here's your chance to make the majors at Mets Baseball Heaven, the New York Mets adult baseball program. If you're over 30, Baseball Heaven invites you to turn back the clock to the days of your youth and suit up with the likes of Carter, Flynn, Wine, Howard, Stearns, Youngblood, and more the week of February 4th, 1996. For more information, call Mets Baseball Heaven at 1-800-898-METS. That's 1-800-898-6387.
Back in the 70s, Bobby Hull, Ulf Nielsen, and Anders Hedberg called Winnipeg home. That was a long time ago. The Jets playing out the string, their final season in Manitoba. Right now, let's get you back to the Winnipeg Arena, where after one, it's the Devils 1, the Jets nothing.
A nice bit of reminiscing there, Matt. That was a period of time when the Jets were in the World Hockey Association, and they had 3 Avco World Trophies here. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk a little more about that as the evening goes on. Quite a hockey history here. In the first period, it was mostly Devils, though.
Oh, it sure was the Devils, but you know, the amazing thing is the chances that Winnipeg has given up, prime chances. And it's one thing to get a lot of chances and shots from the outside in the perimeter and take away the rebounds, but the Devils have been skating, they've been moving the puck, and they're getting scoring chances from right in front of the net. And Chevelday, I don't think you can fault him on any of these chances against that they've been getting.
Now you got some help from the post. This is the Bill Guerin intermission package brought to you by the good people at the United States Postal Service. First, Bill Guerin, and the one that went in.
Now, we talk about puck movement. You got to headman the puck. Great pass here by Stevie Thomas. Moves it over here to Sikora, and he drives to the net. It opens up for Guerin coming in behind, who just puts his head down and blasts it hard. And Chevelday had no time to react to the angle. The puck was halfway at the net. Again, Steve Thomas driving through the middle. See him go to the net, allows Guerin to come in behind, and I think there was a partial screen A, and the fact that he didn't stop the puck, he just blasted it a one-timer.
9th of the year, 4th on the power play from Sikora and Thomas at 8:36. But he didn't score on all of his shots.
Well, that's right. Again, you can see big number 12 plant himself in front of the net. Some great offensive grind. They're doing it all. They're doing it on the rush this line. They're doing it on the grind. Again, Thomas in the middle, driving to the net. Guerin gets a great chance off this far post here. Another great scoring opportunity, and the Jets are going to have to start taking care of business and cleaning up in front of their own net.
We'll see if that happens when we come back for the second period of our game. The Devils are leading on the Bill Guerin goal.
Devils Hockey on Sports Channel is brought to you in part by your Tri-State GMC truck dealer.
With a newly enhanced Vortec 4300 V6 engine and available push-button four-wheel drive, the GMC Jimmy can handle virtually anything you might encounter on the road. But you may appreciate Jimmy even more for its ability to get you out of your own driveway. For a great lease offer, visit your Tri-State GMC truck dealer today.
For years, people have done their thinking on the run. Now, they can do their business on the run, thanks to the breakthrough that fits in your pocket. Zorus, the personal digital assistant from Sharp that gives you the freedom to write it, type it, sign it, and fax it anytime, anywhere.
John, hello, mate. Just got your fax. But you really should get out of the office a bit more.
You have two sides. Your emotional side would love a cellular phone to stay in touch with family, friends, and tow trucks. Your rational side says, no way, we can't afford it. Well, look at this, both of you. It's Talk Along Cellular Service from Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile. It's just $14.99 a month. You get free local weekend airtime, a Nokia phone for $39.99, plus call now with your credit card and there's no activation fee. Get yourself together. Call for Talk Along now, only from Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile.
Devils fans, give the perfect holiday gift. The New Jersey Devils holiday plan. Treat yourself or someone you know to a wonderful 5-game plan, which will give you priority status for acquiring 95-96 Stanley Cup playoff packages. Enjoy the same seats for each game in your plan. Don't miss out on the last chance for a partial plan for the 95-96 season. New Year's Eve. The Devils will be at United Center in Chicago, the first time they will have ever played there. 8:30 is our telecast time. Sports Authority game time at 8:15. That is on News Sport. Devils Blackhawks Sunday at 8:30. The Blackhawks playing tonight in Buffalo and leading 3-1. And the Blackhawks are unbeaten in their last 6. It's kind of got the look of unbeaten in 7 by the time the Devils get to them.
That's right, but you know, the thing the Devils have going for them is the fact that I don't think they've ever played a bad game in that building. In the old building, the old Chicago Stadium. But in Chicago, they just seem there's something special. This team comes together, and they just love those big arenas that are jam-packed.
Was that your favorite place to play on the road?
Yes. Yeah, I love going into that Chicago Stadium and that national anthem with Wayne Mesmer singing and the big pipe organ pounding those keys. And I'll never forget, and folks at home probably saw that All-Star game with the Gulf crisis going on and the All-Stars, and such an emotional All-Star rendition of the national anthem.
Wayne Mesmer was a casualty as a performer of the lockout because he became one of the key people on the Chicago Wolves staff. And there was competition viewed there by the people that hire the anthem singers, and so we no longer get to hear Wayne when we go there. They had decided on a replacement for him. I sure miss hearing him. This guy's only a point away from hitting 900. Neil Broughton from not very far away from here, Roseau, Minnesota, up north. Aaron is probably back there watching on the satellite dish tonight.
That's right. And Aaron, he's very familiar with Winnipeg after playing here a few years.
Last chance I had to see Aaron, a one-time New Jersey Devil back in the earlier part of their existence, was on the last night of the Stanley Cup Finals. He had a pretty big smile on his face out in the hallway at the Meadowlands. And at that end of the arena, everybody had smiles.
No kidding. No kidding. And this man here had a lot to do at the Martin Brodeur. And he looks like he's his old self again. He went through a spell there where he just continued to work. He doesn't get rattled, and he's back on his game.
Manson, a shot, went off someone in front. Chambers spins it back around. McIver with the keep. Pitched along, though, by Stevens. Ralston couldn't take, but Carpenter could. Boom, he went into Kachuk. On comes Ralston. Ralston wanting to get by Manson. Ralston centered one in front. Richer couldn't convert as his stick was held. Now back up with it, McIver. Back on for Ed Olczyk. Spins it right back in again. Off of Brodeur. Chambers after it. He and Solani tie, but Chambers pulls away. Sean Chambers backhands it around. It is Newman turning along further for Solani. Solani trying to hook a pass across, but instead it's shoveled along by Carpenter. Ralston hustling back for that. It is Quint, but Ralston pitched it away, and it is set up by Newman. Early stages, second period. Pass on to Solani. Wedged by Smith. Shoots one, and a save made by Brodeur.
Great save by Brodeur. Came out aggressively to cut down the angle, and you have to give a lot of credit there to Jason Smith bothering Solani from behind without taking a penalty.
I'm wondering if Solani got hurt on that play. It looked like it might have been a groin or something after he pulled the trigger on that. Smith was on him at the time, and he was slowed down some from that. He seems to be okay over at the bench right now. But the way that he strided afterwards made me wonder. Here's Stapleton with a pass that went off his stick. Dumped around now, and it's Guerin. Solani is a big part of this franchise, and that's the reason for the interest. Not only in terms of what he commands on the contract, he is tied with Mark Messier for 6th in scoring. It is Stapleton working it right back ahead. Big shot rattles loudly off the wall. Niedermeyer couldn't stop that one. Stapleton could. Boy, Mike Stapleton's been a pretty active Winnipeg Jet tonight. One of the better players they've had. Darren Shannon, then to Stapleton again. Pat Stapleton's kid. On to Shannon, a backhander save. Rebound, and Brodeur got that one. And play is stopped as the Jets have come out like Jets here at the start of the second.
That's right, but you know, one thing you're going to notice, you're going to see nothing but red shirts in front of Martin Brodeur. We talked about Cheveldae and the problems he had in the first period. And Martin Brodeur has the luxury of having nothing but red jerseys to take care of him. And again, as long as you're on the inside checking out, you're in good shape. Let's take a look here. Timo Selänne, he's got game break. You see why. Great pass. Watch Jason Smith just tug, tug, tug. And that allowed Martin Brodeur. He saw how aggressive he was out of the net, knowing the only option he had was to shoot.
Mike Peluso and Danico. Crash line out for New Jersey. McKay across to Peluso with Bobby Holik. Rolled back in by Peluso. Stu Malgunas comes by. Banged it away from Holik. Sent back out for Gillen. Spun it wide. Danico there. Shoved off by King. Chipped along by Gillen. Danico turns with it. Early going second period. 1-0 New Jersey ahead. The goal by Bill Guerin. He sees from the bench Holik sent flying. Puck right back into Dean. Jets in the midst of a change. The Devils in the midst of doing 1-2. On now comes Holik, trying to drop it back for McKay, but it is McIver. Then back up for Doan. Crunched by Smith, and the two go down. And all of it called back on an offside. So it remains here at Winnipeg, a 1-0 Devils lead.
Hey guys, what do they call this? Bud ice? It's ice brewed. No, it's a bottle looks like ice. The bottle does look like ice. It's ice brewed, just the bedhead. The bottle is Jag, and it looks like ice. Ice brewed, Jag. Jag, it's ice brewed. Hey, you guys, take it outside. Okay, Coach.
Bud Ice, the official beer of the Hanson brothers.
Stupid machine took my quarter.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if you can only get a cab. Team needs new jerseys. Person has to deliver them overnight. Goes to post office. Finds express mail is a smart solution. Guarantees delivery. Jerseys arrive on time. Person avoids getting sacked.
Yeah!
Oh, 5 minutes to go, and they're behind. What is this?
You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith here. They're being tested.
Unbeaten in 21, the last team to beat them, Springfield, ahead of them tonight in Albany, 4-3. Meanwhile here, the parent club is ahead of Winnipeg, 1-0 in the second. Bobby Carpenter against Shamnoff for the faceoff that comes back to McIver. And in on Brodeur. Sean Chambers. Stevens. Ralston. But McIver. Off of Doan and taken by Korolev and centered. Hurried shot by Shamnoff. Shanked off of Doan. Fed back to Manson. Manson able to keep it away from the persistent Richer. But it is Carpenter. Bobby Carpenter up the boards, but Shamnoff walks right to the front. Can't control. Now circles to get control. Back to Manson for a drive, and a save made by Brodeur, and a good one. Carpenter lifts it along. Manson tries to keep. Kept it alive, but spun it into Carpenter. Devils having a hard time getting out. Stevens went down, swept it along, and a neutralized. Manson shanked it back in. Boy, that was good Winnipeg pressure. The Jets have outshot the Devils 4-1 so far in this period. Make that 5-1 now. Ralston goes down. There'll be a penalty coming up to the Jets. The Devils will get a power play. It is only the second penalty call in the game. And so the Devils, who connected on the only other penalty assessed to Winnipeg, will get another crack here as McIver goes off.
That's take a look here. You can see why Brian Ralston was pulled down. Watch 44 White. Ralston with that great speed. We talked about defensemen putting the stick between the legs. That's what they do. They're trained to do that early at a young age, and it neutralizes the forward coming at them with a lot of speed if they're flat-footed. Such was the case there. McIver really was left with no other option, he felt, but to tie him up with a stick.
Terry Simpson squad ranked 22nd overall in penalty killing. The Devils' power play ranked 23rd, but that's deceptive because they've been so strong lately. Here's Dean handing on to Bill Guerin. Devils without a road win in the last 10 games since Philadelphia the middle of November. Guerin back for Dean's shot. Went off of Thomas. Kachuk after that one engulfs it back down. Kachuk and Gillen working up front. Manson and Newman in back. That's for Winnipeg. For the Devils, Thomas and Guerin, the wingers for Sikora. Niedermeyer bumped into by Kachuk along with Dean. Big shot by Sikora, knuckleballed and fooled Cheveldae. And play is stopped as he holds on.
With Peter Sikora. I think that shot ricocheted off Dave Manson, the Winnipeg Jet defenseman, and it fooled Cheveldae. And again, we're seeing Sikora pull the trigger. Guerin, Sikora, Thomas have been very effective, skating very well tonight with good puck movement. I tell you, this young man Sikora's got 9 points on the power play, leads the team, leads the Devils points on the power play, and he's been an intricate part of the success that they've been having lately.
Cannot come up with that draw. It is rattled on around by Manson and down. So Martin Brodeur sets it up with a big battle for Chambers. Same front line out for the Devils. Sikora's pass is slowed by Eastwood. But it's picked up by Guerin. Guerin trying to fight his way through. Bill Guerin turns Newmanen. Puck ricochets off for Shannon. Shannon lost, though, for Thomas to get it back to Niedermeyer, then along off Guerin. Newmanen close quarters to Manson, then Guerin again. Newmanen swept it away. Up the boards for Shannon and back down. More changes for Winnipeg. Gillen comes out to work up front along with Stapleton. Moving ahead now is Holik. Bobby Holik peels off. Dropped it back for an empty point. Gillen leaned on by Holik and goes down. There will be a penalty. It will be interference. It will cancel out the power play. And 37 seconds from now, Winnipeg will get its first crack on a man advantage tonight.
Well, that was one of those penalties that Bobby Holik felt he had no other option but to take. Turned the puck over, just lost the handle on it inside the blue line. Right here loses the handle, and Randy Gillen's got good speed, started to take off, and I think Bobby was a little disappointed that he did get called. And Gillen, the veteran, the cagey veteran, wisely took advantage of Bobby Holik's body position there and drew the penalty.
Well, that's a good description of Gillen as you see Holik in the box on that interference rap at 5:47. Florida, Tampa Bay, the Rangers, Kings, Penguins, and Whalers, as well as 3 stints with the Jets. And that's not to mention 5 minor league stints with Jet farm teams and Ranger farm teams. Ahead now comes Jamnoff. Jamnoff moving in, but the play is thrown off on an offside. So it is a goalie and 4 for 22 more seconds. And then the Jets will go on the power play. They're ranked 9th best in the league at it. Devils have been pretty good at penalty killing lately. They've only given up 3 power play goals in the last 5 games.
And they're also dangerous on that penalty kill. They've been getting a chance a night that we've watched for the last half dozen or so games.
So we'll see. They'll probably have McIver go right out there and make a change in forwards. They've got 2 defensemen out right now. McIver's still in the box for another 15. But McIver's the guy that they got to help the power play. Dean working it ahead. Swept away by Korolev. McIver standing, 3 seconds and 2. Jamnoff hits the line, tries to get through. Angled it off Dean. McIver does stay out. And they put Ed Olczyk up front. And a pass to Richer. Stefan Richer in short-handed. Chased off on the play. Hanging on is Cheveldae, and coming by to take it, McIver. Right back up with it comes Ed Olczyk. Olczyk leaned on by Broughton, able to feather it through. Olczyk in deep. Tried to get it around for Kachuk. Olczyk still battling for it. Gets it back to the point. McIver shovels it on to Keith Kachuk. Kachuk back for McIver, but off his stick.
I'll tell you, what a great play by Newman in there to catch up to, first of all, Stephane Richer with the great speed he has, and to tie him up and not take a penalty.
It is Manson working back. The Devils are killing with McLean and Broughton up front. In back, Niedermeyer and Stevens. And on comes Solani. Bangs it off the boards. Olczyk to play it there. Wraps it on around Teemu Solani. Chased off by Niedermeyer, and the puck cleared. This is Solani's first shift after he took that breakaway shot with Jason Smith on him. But he's not normally a part of the penalty kill, so that's part of the explanation in him not being out any earlier. Puck cut by Richer. Tkachuk took it away. Got the pass to Manson. Ahead to Olczyk. Moving in with Solani. Olczyk's pass bounces over. Knocked down by Tkachuk. Then to Solani. Solani looks for Olczyk. Fed one out for Tkachuk. Tkachuk around behind now. For Solani a drive, and it went off a skate. Cleared back down by Richer. Penalty time is up. Cheveldae makes the stop, and the teams are back at full strength. Under 12 minutes to go. Second period of our game as Brodeur sets for Chambers. 19 shots for the Devils, 14 for the Jets. 3 this period for the Devils, and 6 for Winnipeg. Chambers passes on to Sikora. Then up for Thomas. Bangs it off for Guerin. He's got Sikora in front. Can't get it to him because of Quint. Wrapped on around, and it is Dean. Plays it back in, and screened out by the referee was Quint. So Darren Quint playing for the Jets defense. Hands back over to Numminen. Teppo Numminen, one-time Olympic star for Finland, sees it go over now to Doan. Doan around behind, chased off by Danico. Puck taken by Sikora, lobbed ahead. Numminen will go back to get it. Numminen shoves it up to Jamnov. Jamnov to Numminen again. Korolev couldn't play. Dean could. Then to Thomas. Thomas flips, but it went by McKay. Try to get the complete crash line out as soon as Thomas makes the change. It is Dean moving in to play it on defense. Back up for Thomas again. Thomas just sent a soft one back in deep. Malgunas going to play that. The wedge by Holik, but the puck taken back out by McKenzie. Gillen spins it back around. It comes over to King. Big hit on him by Mike Peluso. McKay, nice pass ahead to Holik. Niedermeyer up on the play. The pass to Niedermeyer with Holik breaking. Fed one that went off the defense and popped over the crossbar. Cleared back out, and Jason Smith takes over. Niedermeyer with it there, but the pass a stiff one off Bobby Holik. Gillen hurries it back in. Watching his Brodeur as it comes near King. Smith on him, trying to trap him to the wall. Smith battling with King. Coming by is Mike Stapleton, and it's kicked to him. Stapleton back for King. Couldn't get it to the front of the net. Puck chip near Niedermeyer, taken by Peluso. So the two teams showing some strong defense, particularly the Devils, because the offense has been to Winnipeg in this period. After they were pretty well whitewashed, not only on the board, but in chances in the first. Angle back in, Shannon a shot, and a good positional save by Brodeur. Carpenter just by the reach of Richer. Stapleton back on to Shannon. Surrounded by 4. Niedermeyer's the one with it. Off for Richer, but Manson. Off of Smith, Eastwood. Eastwood close quarters to Shannon. Looking to the front, gives to the back. McIver bangs it back off. Eastwood around behind. He's got Shannon in front. Can't get it to him. Dump back off. Stapleton closes off on the wall with Ralston, who spins it back down. So Manson goes to get it. The Devils in the midst of a change. 9:10 to go in the second period. Long pass to Stapleton. Fires, and a save made by Brodeur. Martin Brodeur shaking his glove hand like that one must have stung. It is Broughton along. Olczyk holds him off. Zelepukin put it back in.
You catch those sometimes. You catch them on the thumb. That can they can give you a stinger straight in that fleshy part of your thumb.
Solani lost it to Broughton. Neil Broughton, a backhander save. Rebound set wide by Zelepukin. Stevens a shot. That one knocked down. Broughton a drive. Save Cheveldae. Good pressure by this line. Zelepukin and Chambers collide. Zelepukin able to angle it back in. John McLean hoping for it there, but Manson took it away. Rolled one right to the front, and Cheveldae had to pitch it away. Now it's John McLean turning with it. McLean with a backhander went off a leg. Solani controlling for Winnipeg. And he'll accelerate and then throw it up to Olczyk. Can't control. Shift change on for the Jets. Chambers pass off a stick taken by John McLean. Broughton steps ahead further with Ralston. Big shot! shot, and that one off the elbow of Chevrolet to the glass. Ralston trickled it around behind. Puck taken by Quint. Puck came back out to Richer. Sent along to Quint again. Boy, oh boy, does that line of Zelepukin and Broughton and McLean look sharp. Bringing it ahead is Jamnov. Hands on to Keith Tkachuk. Tkachuk holding back for Newman, and shot went off a leg. Jamnov couldn't pull the trigger on a rebound. And it is ahead for Richer. Richer one-on-one with Jeff Finley. Crosses. Richer with a pass that's off a leg.
And you know, that line just picked up the momentum handed to them by the crash line, who are out there banging bodies around.
Jamnov chased off. Korolev, a shot off the glove of Brodeur. One of the stronger shots of the night for Winnipeg. It is Thomas bringing it ahead. Thomas tries to play through. Korolev says no. Back comes Eastwood. Eastwood moving in with Doan. Couldn't get the pass through. Sikora plays ahead for Thomas. Boom, he's run into by Finley. Dean ahead now to Bill Guerin. Fires, hits the post with another shot. Now it's Thomas, checked off by Shannon. Thomas still battling for it, emerges. Guerin, another drive, off a Chevrolet, score! Peter Sikora out of the net mouth, and it's 2-0.
You know, it's unbelievable the sense that this kid has around the net, Peter Sikora. And this is instinctive. He just knows where to stand as the shots are coming from one side of the ice. He's just off the post, between the post and the dot, and the puck comes to him. He's got incredible instincts. Billy Guerin unleashes a couple of great shots to the left of the screen, all alone right there. Sikora, look where he's standing. I mean, that is unbelievable, the sense that this guy has, and it's something that is very instinctive. You can try to tell a guy that he should be in this area, and I'm telling you, Mike Bossy got a hatful every year he played, and he used to patrol the flats off the side of the net. And Sikora does this instinctively.
Who was watching Bossy during those years when he was patrolling off the flat?
Well, when he's
somebody I know.
When he was putting them in, or when he wasn't? Well, when he was putting them in, it was probably me.
2-0. Sikora gets the goal. Guerin and Thomas get the assist, and so that line has accounted for the 2 goals in the game. So now, latter stages of the second period, 6:15 to go. Guerin in the first, Sikora in the second, and the Devils up 2-0. Sikora, his 12th goal from Guerin and Thomas at 13-18. Play is stopped here at Winnipeg Arena. Peter Sikora has given the Devils a 2-goal lead now.
Your Tri-State Quality Ford dealers proudly present the deals of the season on the cars and trucks of the year. It's the Ford year-end event. Lease a Ford Taurus for just $257 a month for 27 months with $1940 down. Redesigned inside and out, it's the best-selling car in America. Get great deals on everything, but get moving. The Ford year-end event. You guessed it, now through the end of the year. Hurry, see your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer now.
If you're a golf fanatic, join the club, Club Golf. Every week, you can tour the world's finest golf resorts, preview new equipment, and get tips that will improve your game. Sports Channel Club Golf, every Saturday and Monday.
Coming up this weekend on Sports Channel. Saturday, the Nets clash with Chris Mullin and Golden State. Sunday, the Islanders face off with Buffalo. And the Devils battle the Blackhawks in Chicago. Follow the Nets, Isles, and Nets this weekend on Sports Channel.
He's good, isn't he?
Boy, he knows how to score. I'm going to tell you something. You know, the thing I like about him as well is the fact his attitude. He's got a tremendous attitude. No complacency, not comfortable, doesn't feel like he's settled in. Every single night he feels he's got to earn a spot. And with that attitude coming in, boy, the Devils are fortunate, and he's going to have a good career with that kind of mindset.
Manson shoots, and a save made by Brodeur. Smith along now for Niedermeyer. Plays it through to Broughton. Up the wing and past John McLean. Manson taps. Smith with the read and the toss back in. Sikora has failed to score in only 1 game in December. He was scratched for 1, so in all the games he's played, he's only failed to score in 1, and that was at Detroit. Doan moving in. Shoots one, and a save made by Brodeur. Doan around behind, nearly got to the front, but Broughton swept it, then along to Zelepukin, and banked back down. Shift change for that line now. McIver controlling for the Jets defense. Pass thrown back in by Carpenter. Carpenter and Ralston and Richer stay together as a unit tonight for Jacques Lemaire. Down deep, it's Chambers. Down to the ice, Jamnoff. The arm of Andy Van Hellemond stays down. Carpenter bangs one off. Richer watches as Newman takes. Then around Scott Stevens, hurried to keep play alive. Banks it around the other way. Kachuk there. Ralston on him. Newman scaled it back off the glass. Chambers turns with it there. Then Ralston. Then Carpenter. And back again.
Boy, the Devils have shown a lot of discipline, not only with chipping the puck in, getting it deep, but the line changes have been very smooth and to a man, right on the money. They're getting the matchups they want, but it's on the fly.
Stevens brushed that one around. Puck taken by Kachuk. Keith Kachuk flings it back for Olczyk. Olczyk hit by Sikora. Olczyk digging behind. Solani up with it there. Teemu Solani circling with it. Hands it on back to Quint. Shoots one that's knocked down by Sikora. Played ahead for Bill Guerin. Guerin then Sikora. Then back ahead to Thomas. Puck chipped right back out again. Olczyk on now to Solani. Rush from him. Stevens chopped at it. Taken by Olczyk. He spins over to Kachuk for a shot. Good block by Stevens. Wheeled right back down the ice, and there'll be icing coming from this.
Smart play by Stevens.
3:56 to go. Second period of our game. Jacques Lemaire's squad is ahead, trying to make it 2 straight.
Yo, Mr. College Baskets. You just saw a TV score update, and your worries are over.
What are you, some kind of bozo? Sure you know the score, but do you know how much time's left? It's not a win. The game's a maybe. And if you don't know game time remaining, you don't know how much to worry. And worry is important. You can't win without worry.
Call Sports Phone. We'll tell you game time remaining, so you can worry. 976-1313. College Baskets. Game time remaining. Just 40 cents.
Sports Channel in January starts a new year of great sports action. The Devils and Islanders face off against the Bruins, Sabres, Kings, and Avalanche in over 20 exclusive games. The NBA heats up on Sports Channel when the Nets tip off against the Hornets, Lakers, Rockets, and many more. Catch exclusive Big East basketball matchups featuring Seton Hall, UConn, Rutgers, and Georgetown. Halls of Fame profiles NBA legend Bill Walton. It's all coming your way in January only on Sports Channel.
Hey, Devil fans, while you can't bring the home rink with you, you can bring the ice. Bud Ice. It's a smooth taste that goes down easy. Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the National Hockey League.
2-0 Devils. Fans talking it up here, urged on by the noise meter of the scoreboard. Jamnoff working with Korolev and Doan. Bobby Holik along with Peluso and McKay. Danico and Dean the defense. Puck back to Manson. Hurries one that's into Holik. Jamnoff knocked down by Bobby Holik. Puck fed over to Korolev. Korolev matched stride for stride by Dean. Back to the point, Manson. Wrist one. That was off McKay. And McKay can move in with it. Randy McKay fires and it went wide. Just catching up. Forcing him to pull the trigger was McIver. Back on with it is Korolev. Speeds it back in. Brodeur stops it behind. Danico. Dean. Peluso. Then ahead for Carpenter. McKay reaches and sweeps it back in. Shift change. On now for the Devils. Ralston comes back over the boards to join Richer and Carpenter. Puck tipped out of play. 3:08 to go in the second period of our game with the Devils ahead by a count of 2-0. Big Dave Manson. 6'2", 202 pounds for Paul Saskatchewan.
Call him Charlie. And it's a reputation he's earned. Plays extremely physical. Watch here, Randy McKay pulls the trigger. You're going to see why. Coming from the right of your screen, he sensed the pressure coming from Norm McIver. And Chevelday out aggressively cutting the angle, sensing that McIver was going to track him down. And I'm impressed tonight with the Devils' discipline. We talked about it earlier, but Stevens and Chambers out there now. And I expect them to make a change on the fly without Olczyk's line out there.
Chambers and Guerin. Some pretty good thumping in this game. Stevens with a pass ahead to Sikora. Ladled up now for Guerin. Big shot slowed down by Newman. And trapped and held by Chevelday. Play has stopped here at Winnipeg Arena. Steve Thomas and his crowd are ahead by 2.
Don't you just love hockey? What's not to love? You get the wicked slap shots, the bone-jarring hits, the phenomenal saves. And don't forget the ice. Bud Ice and 96-calorie Bud Ice Light, the official beer sponsors of the NHL. So grab a bottle of Bud Ice, or if you prefer, try it from a cup.
This Saturday and Sunday only, in every Nobody Beats the Wiz store, all open box merchandise is on sale. Save 10 to 60% on thousands of TVs and VCRs, thousands of audio components and camcorders, thousands of cameras, portables, and computers. All brand new and all on sale. These are brand new, undamaged, unused displays or demos, some repaired, and they're all on sale. This Saturday and Sunday only, save 10 to 60% on open box merchandise. Nobody beats the Wiz.
2 months and 1 day, and it finally ended. The Rats lost to Springfield 5-3, so the 21-game unbeaten streak has ended. 2-0 Devils ahead here. Second period of our game, 26 shots to 18, New Jersey ahead. Sorry for the audio problems. You noticed that panel that the River Rats have lost. So for the first time in 2 months and 1 day, Albany has lost a game. The unbeaten string was at 21 before it fell. Here is Teemu Selanne coming in. Selanne lost. Stevens played on to John McLean. So our congratulations to Robbie Fatorik and the River Rats for putting together a splendid string during which they moved from 3rd in their division all the way up to 1st in the league. Old Czech put it right back in. Springfield has closed the gap for the entire league lead now to just 2 points. Springfield on the strength of a very strong start that the Rats did not have. So here is Stevens handing it back over. Chambers, then to McLean. And McLean to Zelapukin. But Selanne brings it ahead, just surrounded by red and black. Quint, checked by Zelapukin, escapes. Wrister! Oh, and it went off Brodeur and just snaked wide. Played along now for Tkachuk. Tkachuk, oh, we saw that hit coming from Stevens. Got out of the way of that, but lost the puck. Zelapukin back up to McLean, on to Chambers, then to Broughton. Broughton with a shot, and it went off a leg in front and wide. Old Czech put it around behind, and it's Manson with it in the final 90 seconds of the period. Selanne rolled it further. Dean up with it there. Dean shoveled it back in. Ralston, the forechecker, drifting away. Bobby Carpenter working with him. And also Richer is there. Zelapukin drifting on back. New Chicago coach Craig Hartsburg. Looks like his team is going to come in unbeaten in 7 games because they have a commanding 4-1 lead over Buffalo tonight in Buffalo. Matt Lachlan will have the details of all of that. Everything else going on in hockey during the intermission. Brodeur seals this one up with 50.3 to go.
That's a good move by Martin Brodeur here. Let the Devils regroup and get fresh troops out there here for the final minute. Look at Kevin Dean. Played a very solid game. Paired off with Ken Danico gives that tandem a very physical presence. And also, there's been tremendous amount of discipline on the defenseman's part. Chris Nyland doing a great job rotating the defensemen, anticipating who the Jets are going to have out there, and having Stevens and Chambers most of the time against Olczyk line with Teemu Selanne and Tkachuk on the wings.
Again, we want to apologize for the audio problems. Be able to get that corrected as soon as possible. Smith with a pass along now for Niedermeyer. Shots are 27-19, New Jersey. The line is out there now that has gotten both the goals in this game. Sikora with Thomas and Bill Guerin. Brodeur along now for Niedermeyer. Niedermeyer put it around behind. Jason Smith with it there. Hawked every inch of the way by Eastwood. Smith and Eastwood continue the battle on the boards. Eastwood comes up with it. Eastwood bumped by Sikora. Puck to Shannon. Smith on him. The two of them paw at one another in the last 10. Stapled and wrapped up. Trying to escape. Fed one in front. Shannon Guerin tried to stuff it home. It went off a leg. 3 seconds to go. Guerin with one last try to Thomas. Lets it go, and it's saved by Cheveldae. The horn sounds, and the second period ends.
Boy, you see Cheveldae at one end. He's got to be wondering what his team has to do to get on the board, watching his counterpart. A great chance by Darren Shannon in front, but Martin Brodeur made a great save, and the Devils playing very disciplined, skating extremely hard, and playing very smart road hockey, helping this guy here, Martin Brodeur, as we see them head into the locker room.
The score at the end of 2. It's the Devils 2 and the Jets nothing. We'll be back with Neil Broughton in just a moment. But right now, back to our Sports Authority Game Time studios where Matt Laughlin is holding forth. Matt?
Doc, up next for the Devils, as you mentioned, the Chicago Blackhawks. Tonight they're in upstate New York for a meeting with the Sabres, and we'll have highlights here during the second intermission. Plus, we'll tell you how the Knicks are faring tonight against Washington. All that's a little later on. First, though, a business break. Then back to Winnipeg, where, as promised, Neil Broughton's in the studio. He'll have a chat with Doc and Doug. After 2 goals by Bill Guerin and Peter Sikora have given the Devils a 2-0 lead.
With a newly enhanced Vortec 4300 V6 engine and available push-button 4-wheel drive, the GMC Jimmy can handle virtually anything you might encounter on the road. But you may appreciate Jimmy even more for its ability to get you out of your own driveway. For a great lease offer, visit your Tri-State GMC truck dealer today.
Okay, new rules. Individuals are no longer more important than the team.
You want a piece of that championship? Put it in here. Nobody can do it alone, but together we can do it.
Sports magazines include more team photos. More game balls go to linemen. We all play more as a team. We pat someone on the butt when they fail and celebrate like madmen when they succeed. Starter, it's about team.
You have two sides. Your emotional side would love a cellular phone to stay in touch with family, friends, and tow trucks. Your rational side says, no way, we can't afford it. Well, look at this, both of you. It's Talk Along Cellular Service from Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile. It's just $14.99 a month. You get free local weekend airtime, a Nokia phone for $39.99, plus call now with your credit card and there's no activation fee. Get yourself together. Call for Talk Along now, only from Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile.
These days, trying to get on top of your financial situation is getting tougher and tougher. What you need is someone with experience and know-how. MetLife can help you get a grip on things and help you make sense of it all. Get Met. It pays.
Hey, Doc, who would you call if you had a chance to phone anywhere in the U.S. for free?
I'd call Minneapolis and get the Minnesota Moose up here. I understand they're coming next year. These fans deserve to continue to have hockey. And if they've got any second thoughts, they should get here, because they're all right. For the second straight season, the Devils and Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile have teamed up to ensure that the call will go through. At every Devils home game, one lucky fan will be selected to phone virtually anywhere in the U.S. for up to 5 minutes free. So the next time you're at a Devils game, be sure and listen for your chance to call your favorite long-distance friend or relative. Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile, the official cellular provider of the New Jersey Devils. 2-0 Devils ahead at the end of 2 periods, and it's our pleasure to call in Neil Broughton, who has been playing with Valeri Zelepukin and John McLean again out there tonight. Boy, this is a great Devils game, it seems to us, watching it from up here. How do you feel about it?
Well, I feel the same way. It's kind of a similar game to what we were playing in the playoffs. I think our focus is there. We're putting pressure on the puck, and we're being very disciplined. We've only taken 1 or 2 penalties, and when Marty's need to make a save, he's made one.
Hey, talk to us about discipline. We talk about discipline in that regard, but what about line changes? You guys are getting matchups you want, you're making quick line changes.
Yeah, you're noticing that we are. We're trying to be fresh on the ice, and that requires, 20, 30-second shifts and getting guys out there who want out there against their team. But, well, the focus is there tonight, and we're making good line changes, and it's just helped throughout the game.
I know you're from Minnesota, but have you had any kind of sense just being around Winnipeg now, the feeling of the history of this place and the fact that their team is going. I know you haven't had much time here, but do you have any sense of what's going on here?
Well, it's a tough situation. The team's been here for a long time, like it was in Minnesota, and it's just hard moving a franchise. A lot of players have put a lot of sweat into their uniforms here, and now it's a difficult situation. Something that they're going to have to live with and focus on just playing hockey and not worrying about the other stuff.
Hey, tell us, Neil, the other night we noticed you were on the point on the power play. Is it a position, I know you've played there before, and is it a position you feel comfortable at?
Yeah, I like it back there. You get a chance to see the whole ice, you know, your back, and you can see the whole play developing. And I played there quite a bit. I probably won't get a chance to play there after I gave up that goal the other night, but it was fun while it lasted.
Do you get to see Aaron very much anymore?
Not too much. A little bit in the summer. I go home, and he's up in Roseau, and he's lived there for a couple years. But go fishing with him a couple times, play a couple rounds of golf, and that's about it. But no, I don't get a chance to see him as much as I'd like.
Yeah, I remember the last time we saw him, he had a big smile because you guys had just won the championship. Now, your parents are here tonight, right?
Yeah, they made it up. It's like a 2-hour drive from Roseau, so they're here. But Aaron would have been here also, but he's in Minneapolis.
Oh, he's probably making all kinds of money doing business, as you are out there, Neil. Thanks very much for your joining us here between periods.
Thanks, guys.
2-0, the score. The Devils have the lead. The Queen is looking down on the home team losing so far tonight. We'll see if that continues. But more with Matt Laughlin after this.
No interest at Willoughby's. No money down at Willoughby's. No down payment at Willoughby's. Plus instant credit approval at Willoughby's. Willoughby's, established in 1898, is New York's oldest and most prestigious camera store. Willoughby's has one of the largest selections of cameras and camera equipment anywhere. Remember, no money down, no down payment, plus instant credit approval. Willoughby's, 136 West 32nd Street. Willoughby's, where the focus is always on you.
Sunjet, shining brighter every day, presents this season's travel forecast. Clear skies and low fares on Sunjet. Call 1-800-4SUNJET and join the thousands who are saving hundreds of dollars on airfares. On Sunjet, you can fly from New York via Newark to Orlando from just $79. New York to Tampa St. Pete for just $79. And New York to Fort Lauderdale is also just $79. Seats are limited, so call 1-800-4SUNJET to reserve yours. Sunjet, we're shining brighter every day.
Devils Hockey on Sports Channel is brought to you in part by MCI's Friends and Family. You get friends and family, you get savings. Simple.
Now you can get friends and family's biggest savings by not doing anything at all. You don't have to name anyone. You automatically get our best savings whenever you call any other MCI customer.
What you're really saying is that I could sit here on my Tookus and save on my long distance, right?
You could say that.
Cool. Could you tell me where you are? I feel a little odd.
What's your wish this holiday season?
The New Jersey Devils could go on and win the 1996 Stanley Cup. I would miss payback.
I wish the Knicks would allow me to play one game.
May all your holiday wishes come true. Coming up, New Year's Eve on Sports Channel. The Islanders collide with Pat LaFontaine and Buffalo. On New Sport, Jacques Lemaire's Devils battle the Blackhawks in Chicago. Celebrate New Year's with great NHL action, only on Sports Channel.
The Devils are looking for their second consecutive win after 2 periods of play. They lead by a score of 2-0. The Buffalo Sabres goaltending situation is a mess. Dominik Hasek and Andrei Trefilov both are out with injuries. Yesterday, the Sabres signed free agent goalie John Blue from Phoenix of the IHL. Tonight, he made his first starting goal, and, well, he was feeling blue because the Blackhawks took no prisoners. 2-1 Chicago in the second on the power play. Gary Suter cranks one from the faceoff circle. That makes it 3-1. Murray Craven in front deflects it home. 4-2 now the score in the third period. Suter with a goal and 3 assists on the night. Dallas leads Detroit 1-0 in the second. Mike Modano with the power play goal. Elsewhere tonight in the National Hockey League, Toronto and Colorado scoreless in the first. It's 1-1 between Philadelphia and Calgary as they play in the first. LA and Edmonton, no score in the first period. And coming up just a little bit, it's Anaheim hosting San Jose. Well, life without Patrick Ewing is certainly depressing for the Knicks. Last night he went down in the first quarter with a sprained ankle. Cleveland held the Knicks to their lowest total of the year. Ewing unable to go tonight as the Knicks square off against Washington in Landover. They're gone to overtime. The Bullets, though, leading by 3, 121-118. Anthony Mason with 31 points. The Knicks in OT without Charles Oakley. He fouled out after scoring 20. It's 2-0 after 2. The Devils on top of the Jets. Back to Winnipeg after this.
Hilton presents Business Saver. Free faxes, movie, local calls, and the fitness center. Business Saver. Another reason why Hilton is the best hotel value in America.
You never really know when you'll need cash. That's why you need a Discover card. Use your card to get cash during business hours from financial institutions and select merchant locations, or 24 hours a day from thousands of ATMs. The Discover card. Because when you need cash, timing is everything. It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
During the Nissan National Clearance, we're teaching all our salespeople to say, yes! Yes! To just about anything. Say you want to lease a Nissan Maxima with 0 down.
With enthusiasm. Yes! Yes!
And let's say you want payments of just $299 a month.
Yes!
Or maybe you want a Pathfinder for 0 down and $299 a month.
Yes!
And you want to take your time.
No!
Right. The Nissan National Clearance ends January 2nd.
You have two sides. Your emotional side would love a cellular phone to stay in touch with family, friends, and tow trucks. Your rational side says, no way, we can't afford it. Well, look at this, both of you. It's Talk Along Cellular Service from Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile. It's just $14.99 a month. You get free local weekend airtime, a Nokia phone for $39.99, plus call now with your credit card and there's no activation fee. Get yourself together. Call for Talk Along now, only from Bell Atlantic 9X Mobile.
At the start of tonight's game, it was 12 below 0 in Winnipeg. Oh, after about an hour and a half, it's probably down to about minus 15. Back to the Winnipeg Arena we go. 2-0 Devils after 2.
You're such a great man of cheer, Matt. We have a car, a rental outside that we hope starts, but it does have the plug protruding from the front grille, so I think we may be in luck. This is Winnipeg, where they won't have a team in the NHL next year. However, they have had an illustrious hockey history, and we wanted to take some time tonight to pay tribute to some of the more exciting times in Winnipeg hockey history, dating back to 1972 when they were joining the World Hockey Association. They joined it with a player off the Chicago Blackhawks named Bobby Hull. The league went together. The franchises chipped in. There is the contract being held by Ben Hatskin, the guy that got the WHA team started here. That was a contract for $1 million, $1 million in 1972. 3 years later, the guys on the left are Nielsen and Hedberg. Yeah, remember them? Rangers fans? Well, they came here in the WHA in 1974, and they wound up being part of a couple of championship teams here. They won 3 in the short span of the 7 seasons that the World Hockey Association operated here. In 76, 78, and the last year, 79. John Ferguson said, I'm going to keep the trophy. Well, he was able to keep it for a while. He was the general manager of the team, but it now is in the AFCO headquarters in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So much for that bit of trivia. What about the highlights of this game? It was another solid Devil second period with a lot of offense.
That's right, and we're going to see one of the most dangerous Devil of late, Stephane Richer here, getting a partial breakaway. Newman does a great job catching up to him here without taking a penalty, and that's why I feel Newman is probably one of the top 10 defensemen in this league. He did an unbelievable job to track down Richer.
The U.S. Postal Service focus goes to the other end for probably the best shot of the night by Winnipeg.
That's right, and Martin Brodeur, great positional save on Korolev through traffic. He was out well on the angle, made a nice reflexive save. He's been very sharp tonight.
Then came a goal to make this 2-0.
That's right. Look to the left of your screen. He's out of the pitch. There's Peter Sikora. And all the Jets, all 5 Jets, are looking to the other half of the ice. And this young man sneaks in behind, phantom-like. And the instincts that this guy has around the net, we talk about it. And this is something that you can try to tell a guy, this is where you got to be. But why would he stand there and not to the other side of the net? These are things, the decisions that he makes on the ice, completely instinctive.
2-0. Devils ahead. Guerin and Thomas, the assists on the second goal. We'll be back with the third right after this.
Devils Hockey on Sports Channel is brought to you in part by the United States Postal Service. We deliver for you. And by Volvo. Volvo reminds you to drive safely.
You okay? I don't think I can drive. I think there might be some ligament damage. Oh, come on. Quit being a crybaby. I relax. Look, I'm not a crybaby. You have any CD? In the glove compartment. Hey, come on. Would you move your foot out of my face? Oh, come on. If I could move my foot, I'd be driving. I didn't even know you were in the game until you fell down and you start screaming, oh, my leg, please. Oh, my leg. When you know Aaron here. Gene, you just passed my house. And lovely house it is. Oh, nice neighborhood, too. I'm glad you guys think this is funny.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if you can only get a cab. Team needs new jerseys. Person has to deliver them overnight. Goes to post office. Finds express mail is a smart solution. Guarantees delivery. Jerseys arrive on time. Person avoids getting sacked.
Become part of the action with Devil season ticket plans. Phone 1-800-NJ-DEVIL to get season ticket information on the Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils. Don't miss out on all of the exclusive benefits. Phone 1-800-NJ-DEVIL. That's 1-800-NJ-DEVIL. 2-0. Devils have the lead as we come into the third period of our tilt tonight from Winnipeg Arena in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Penalty box, as it has been almost all the night, is empty. No carryover penalties nor power plays into the third. Broughton wins the faceoff from Jamnov. And it's rolled back in. McIver to take it. McIver and Manson, the defense combination for Terry Simpson's squad at the start of the third. Kachuk now with Jamnov. And the other forward is Korolev, who just took that pass in the wallet. Shoots one, and a good one, right into Brodeur, and he will wait. So Martin Brodeur has faced 20 shots and has gotten them all.
That's right, and Martin Brodeur, I tell you, he said, I feel so energized by the 2 workouts that these guys have had in front of me. And from where he stands, it's a very unique perspective on the club to watch them work out and skate and sweat and see the movement of the puck. And he said that they've been skating at a different level, and the focus of the guys has been just tremendous. And it's made him a little more excited, a little more alert, and he just loves it. He says, I just love to be in these games, and this building's been great, and the ice is unbelievable, and we're starting to feel like our old team again.
Puck wrapped on around. Manson with a shot, and then Kachuk drilled one that went off of Dean. So it is played ahead off the stick of McLean and back down. Well, I think Devils fans, and to an extent those of us who have been around the team, have kind of had some wishful thinking about all of this and sensing maybe that things are changing a couple of times this year. But this is the first time you've really seen and heard, as Neil Broughton showed us between periods, the players talking about the fact that they seem optimistic about this finally coming together, too. Here's Carpenter shooting one off of Cheveldae, picked up by Quint. And it is Quint for the Jets, looking ahead to Olczyk. Has to pivot away and lay it across to Manson. Then up to Solani. Teemu Solani wanting to shake by Chambers. Solani twists around behind. Ralston comes up with that puck, though. Knocked off his stick. Quint takes over. Knocked away from him by Ralston. And it's Numminen. 28 shots to 21. Korolev. And back in. Devils with the advantage there and on the scoreboard, 2-0. Thomas and Jamnov. And along the wall, the puck squirts to Sikora. Former Detroit Viper, Peter Sikora, along to Guerin, then along to Dean. Jets have some pretty good forechecking here at the outset of the third. Pass ahead off the skate of Guerin. Moving up with it is Thomas. Thomas shoots one that's shanked away to the corner. Quint with a pass that went off Guerin. Skipped around behind, taken by Thomas. Fed one in front, and Sikora was defended away by Zhamnov, or he'd have potted another. Korolev right back in. And then Dean. Hold it around for Thomas. Defense to offense go the Devils. Bobby Holik moving on Finley. Holik bumped off by Finley, who takes it right over. Good defensive job by Jeff Finley. Tipped out by Korolev, taken by Smith. Cranks it right back in. Around the roulette wheel. Eastwood couldn't work it out. Came back to Finley. Boy, good forechecking by both teams. Once it's dumped in there, they have a dickens of a time getting back out. Korolev will try the dump and chase this time, and they'll see if they can hem the Devils in. Not this time. The Jets are changing. So unmolested, they move out. Bobby Holik took the pass from Peluso, then on to McKay. Sealed up by Manson. Stapleton flicked it behind. Turning McIver. McIver, nice soft pass right ahead to Stapleton. Stapleton defended by Smith. Help came from Niedermeyer. Rather uneventful start, but from a defensive standpoint, very solid on both teams' part. Puck back to McIver, lost it to neutral ice. So Manson. And back in. And out of play. For a stoppage of play here at Winnipeg. 2-0, Devils ahead.
Hey guys, what do they call this? Bud ice? Ice brewed. No, it's a bottle looks like ice. Bottle does look like ice. It's ice brewed, just the bedhead. The bottle is jagged and it looks like ice. Ice brewed. Jagged. Hey, you guys! Take it outside. Okay, Coach.
Bud Ice, the official beer of the Hanson brothers.
Stupid machine took my quarter.
You never really know when you'll need cash. That's why you need a Discover card. Use your card to get cash during business hours from financial institutions and select merchant locations, or 24 hours a day from thousands of ATMs. The Discover card. Because when you need cash, timing is everything. It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
Pitcher at Queen Elizabeth, hanging here from the rafters of the Winnipeg Arena. You can see here a full crowd, great crowd here tonight enjoying the game, and the Jets are in an unenviable position here. First of all, down 2-0 against the Devils. They know they have to open things up, and when they do, the Devils are ready to pounce on it, and they've been very effective counterattacking. So they're treading on dangerous waters, I guess you'd say.
Off the glove of Stevens. Olczyk had it checked away by Stevens to Zelapukin. Off the skate of Neil Broughton and back. Manson takes over there. Dave Manson twisting around behind, handing on to McIver. If you're just joining us, the Sikora-Guerin-Thomas line has accounted for both the game's goals tonight. The first by Guerin on a power play in the first, and then Sikora in the second. It is McIver swinging it wide. Olczyk checked off there by Chambers. No, McIver has not participated in a Jets off-day practice yet. Down to the ice went Tkachuk, and off will come a Devil. There will be a penalty, and a power play will be coming up to Winnipeg. You've noticed a few uncharacteristic handle difficulties for McIver and for his partners, and I think it may come from that. I mean, you can participate in game day skates, but it's not the same thing.
That's right. And we're going to take a look here. Why Neil Broughton is in the penalty box, number 9 in red for Hookie. Tkachuk has the puck, and Neil just sort of gets the stick in there, and Tkachuk was a little off balance to begin with. And Andy Van Helmon's arm went up, and in the box he goes. And it's going to be interesting. The Devils have been able to get something going on the PK. As we take a look here, Jacques Lemaire making sure he's in sync here, of course, with Chris Nyland and his defenseman that he has out there. And I wouldn't doubt it here. I wouldn't put it by New Jersey to gamble on the PK. They've been having a lot of success and getting chances.
And the chief gambler wanting to roll sevens is number 44.
And the other thing here, we have this guy, Zhamnov, a forward, playing the point. And
so that means more vulnerability?
Yes, more vulnerability in a situation you're not used to being in.
Last night at Chicago in the 4-3 loss, the Jets gave up 2 shorthanded goals. And all year, they'd only given up 2. So they doubled their number in just one game. And the last one turned out to be the winner. But here is Numminen working on the power play. His team trailing 2-0. Numminen plays the 90-foot harder rounder. Off of Brodeur's stick. Stevens in there. Double team. Down to the ice went one of the Jets. I believe that's Solani just now. Or check that old check. Puck to the back now. Numminen, then to Jamnoff. Along for Kachuk to Numminen. Boy, good aggression by the Devils penalty killers. Right on top of them. Just allow them nothing. Ralston just kicking it further. And it is Numminen. On back to Jamnoff. Kachuk then hands to Solani. Solani moving in. Chambers right on him. It's off the glass to Shannon. Oh, was he ever shoved face first in? That'll cost. And it is punched back out. Touched by Chevelday. It'll be a 5-on-3 for Winnipeg.
You know, that's one of those penalties. As Shannon turned his back to the ice, was facing the boards, and Kevin Dean just simply came in and finished his check. But the timing of the whole thing with Shannon turning his back gave the appearance that he was in a vulnerable position. Watch here. Dean just finishes his hit, and Shannon just goes into the boards hard. And it's a mandate from the league to protect the players when they're in a vulnerable position and can't protect themselves.
Boarding is the call on Dean. The Devils have faced 7 5-on-3s this year and buckled on 3. This will be a 5-on-3 for 49 seconds. Terry Simpson has made his choice. He'll stick with Olczyk, Kachuk, and Solani up front. They were already out. Numminen and Jamnoff to work the point. The iron 3 as Brodeur gets a skate taken care of. Now moves back. The iron 3 will be Carpenter, along with Stevens and Niedermeyer.
And what you're going to see here as we see Brodeur get in the net and get ready for some action, the Devils will be in a tight triangle trying to take away the prime scoring area, which is the slot, as best they can, and give them all the shots they want from the perimeter.
That's where Solani is. Big shot hit the post from Jamnoff. Boy, he cranked a good one, but it was square off that right post. Puck picked up by Ed Olczyk, bringing it back along. Olczyk just looking over his options, gave it to Jamnoff. Jamnoff giving it to Solani, looks to the back and hands it there to Numminen. Numminen back to Solani. 18 left, first penalty. Numminen a shot, went off a leg, loose in front, score! Olczyk!
And that goal went in. It was simply an outnumbered situation down in front of the net. The Jets enjoying a 2-man advantage. And with shots coming from the point, Ed Olczyk was the beneficiary of having an outnumbered situation. You watch down in front of the net, you're going to see Scott Stevens in front, 2 white jerseys. Stevens has to contain. The puck just comes, and there's no way one guy can cover 2, and the odds are with you, which is why the 5-on-3 is so tough to defend against. Stevens trying to find loose pucks and people are knocked down, and I'll tell you, when the odds are stacked against you like that, Olczyk ever so dangerous. And there's a man there who is playing out his option here, will be an unrestricted free agent and having a heck of a year offensively to try to end up somewhere else and keep on playing.
He is now 7th in the league in power play goals, getting his 11th, his 17th overall at 5:51. 1:07 to go on the 5-on-4. Puck sailed into the seats. And so play is stopped. Solani and Kachuk got assists on the goal by Olczyk.
You can just take a look here, just the numbers, and you can see why it's so difficult to defend against. They got 3 down low against 1 defenseman, Scott Stevens. And by having the puck up high like they did and making several passes, they drew 2 penalty killers up high and left Stevens down low with Martin Brodeur. And Eddie Olczyk, as we talked about, you talk about Peter Sikora with hands and instincts around the net. Here's another man. And I think he'd love to finish his career in Chicago, which is his hometown, being a free agent and all.
Well, he's put up some pretty good numbers, hasn't he? On a team that has Solani and Jamnoff and Kachuk. Here's Solani moving ahead, wanting to get by Chambers. Ed Olczyk has done very well, and now he's with those two. Here's Tkachuk moving around in front. Pops one off Brodeur, and it's swept away by the defense and out of play at the bench area. With 37 still for the Devils to kill, how quickly things can change in a game.
Well, you can see why Keith Tkachuk is so dangerous. He makes things happen. He had great patience. It was the best against the best. Watch the patience of Brodeur. He holds his position and forces Tkachuk to make the first move. And I think a couple of defensemen were able to foil a good attempt by Tkachuk. But this man here, he comes to play. Big man, 6'2", go 210. And he throws everything, every pound of that, every ounce of that, every single night. He's a horse of a player, loves the ice time and loves the work, and has that aggressive edge to him.
Numminen, Jamnov with a shot, went off of McLean. Wiping out is Solani. He and Danico battle, but it's Solani. Then on to Tkachuk. Out for Olczyk, and the shot went off a leg. Numminen back to the point, Jamnov. 20 seconds to go. Jamnov a shot. That one went wide. Pinching in is Numminen again. Broughton right on him. Around behind. Olczyk popped one off the goal stick of Brodeur. Solani around behind. Olczyk again. Niedermeyer right on him. Got it back to Solani. Solani with a pass over Numminen. A shot. Save Brodeur. Rebound popped up to be taken by Broughton. And Broughton sails it back down the ice. They have killed off the penalty. Icing the call. Penalty box empty. The damage was 1 goal. 12:37 to go in the third. 2-1 Devils.
What's your sports fantasy for the holidays?
The Knicks all the way. I wish I could see the 1949 Dodgers play. They would all come to my house for Christmas, but they got to bring gifts.
May all your sports fantasies come true. Coming up this weekend on Sports Channel. Saturday, the Nets clash with Chris Mullin and Golden State. Sunday, the Islanders face off with Buffalo. And the Devils battle the Blackhawks in Chicago. Follow the Nets, Isles, and Nets this weekend on Sports Channel.
MetLife Trivia Quiz. The Jets won the last ABCO World Trophy, 1978-79. Who was their coach that year? Have the answer a little bit later on. Puck back to the point. McIver shoots one off a leg. Played back out by Sikora to Bill Guerin. Guerin throws it back in. Cheveldae sweeps it around. Doan there off of Sikora. Guerin flung one wide. And so it is Shannon again. Glove down by Smith. Off the Chrysler emblem. Manson. I guess we're getting too specific there, aren't we? I mean, they're a sponsor, but that's too much. Okay, Doan ahead. Right in on Brodeur. Then along to Smith. Smith put it back to the point. Manson had trouble holding. So it is Smith. Across to Niedermeyer. Jason Smith again. Pass went off Peluso. Cleared back down by Manson. So this is the way the Devils like to play it. You know, from the circles on out, they just don't give up very much. They have the lead now at 2-1. Bobby Holik took a stick up high, flung one across the net mouth away from Peluso. Penalty coming up. And it'll be against the Jets. The Devils will have a power play and a chance to get that 2-goal lead back as Bobby Holik took a stick up around the face. And that will bring a Jet off.
Oh, that's just you just see the size and strength here as we see Jeff Finley head to the penalty box for high sticking Bobby Holik. But this is just a sheer testament. Watch the strength of Holik. He just simply skates through Finley. Try to put the block on him there and get the stick up, a little chin music. And you can see Van Helmen with the arm up behind him, but Holik just simply, you got to get 85–90% of this guy, and there's no way you're going to slow him down like that. I mean, a lot of defensemen are very strong, and they can knock you off stride with their stick. You take a look at Terry Simpson, showing a little concern down a goal here.
Boy, good crowd tonight. I don't think they've announced an attendance, but 12,000, the guess that we had earlier, is going to come out low. They concede a little over 15. In the days of World Hockey, why, it was just the lower tier only, but they did quite a bit of an enlargement to get it back up to 15,000 for the NHL. And that's how many they can get here, and they've had a lot of sellouts in their history, just not this year. Chambers took the bump after he put that one back in, spun back down by the penalty-killing Jets. They'll go with Stevens and Chambers as the points. McLean up front along with Broughton and Zelepukin. John McLean stepping ahead with it. Dumping it back along. Zelepukin had that one pop away. Solani turns with it there. Cleared it right up the middle, but off Chambers and to neutral ice. Stevens yanks it ahead to Chambers quickly. They wait. Shift change of forwards. Chambers will just fire it back around again. Zelepukin storming in after it. It's given up to John McLean, but taken by Tkachuk. Couldn't clear. Sikora with it there. Duels with Tkachuk along the boards. And it's played ahead from Solani to Tkachuk. Left for Solani, but it's taken by Sikora. Sikora right back in with it. Sikora drops. McLean takes. Yanks it around to Sikora once more. Peter Sikora checked on the play. Thrown back by Solani. It's thrown to the front. Rebound. Oh, and a remarkable save made by Tim Cheveldae. Well, that might be the game right there, because if Niedermayer is able to get that one home, it's 3-1.
That was unbelievable. Scott Niedermayer, you're going to see the puck go out to the point of shot. Niedermayer right in front of the net. You see 27 gets a backhand on it. Cheveldae, what a desperate move. And boy, I tell you, that was a pretty acrobatic save. And quick glove hand, and great concentration here by Cheveldae. Because Niedermayer came right to him and he reacted. I tell you, to play in this league, these guys are unbelievable. The way they can be in position to make the first one, and it's much like snooker or pool. It's what you leave, and always be in position to make that second save like that.
Shot number 30 for the Devils. Thomas to Niedermayer. 35 left on the power play. Thomas back to Niedermayer. Shoots a hurried one, deflected wide by Bill Guerin. Cranked right back to the point. Dean with a pass. Thomas had trouble taking it. Steve Thomas turning. Double team. Puck went through Sikora. Kept by Niedermayer nicely to Sikora again. Peter Sikora gave it off for Thomas. Checked by Malgunas. Dean. And over to Guerin. Bill Guerin menaced there by Stapleton. Stapleton trying to clear. Kept by Dean. Second effort kept by Dean. Fed to Sikora. Shoots. Score! Kevin Dean with a remarkable keep. And Peter Sikora just stashed it. It is 3-1 in favor of the Devils.
Boy, I tell you, we talk about Peter Sikora and his scoring. He's got great instincts, but this was a goal scorer shot. You know, he just simply overpowered Cheveldae here. Dean does it, you're right, does a great job right here, holding. And watch this release. Just rips it. I mean, that is what a shot. I'm telling you, not many guys, he toes the puck into his body and changes the angle and then rips it up over his shoulder using the defenseman as a screen. Boy, what presence. This guy is good. Boy, I'll tell you, I like watching him play.
8th point in the last 5 games that he's played. Peter Sikora, and it is now 3-1 in favor of New Jersey. So Chambers back on to Stevens. And if the Devils are right in their assessment of how they've been playing and how their focus is, they got enough right now. Here is Carpenter stepping in. Carpenter fires one that went wide. Along now for Tkachuk. Banged it back out. Chambers takes it there. Lobs it back in. So Tkachuk walks back up ice with it, accelerating and laying it on to Shamnoff. Knocked away by Zelepukin. Zelepukin lobbed it back, and Numanen takes over there. And Danico will stride for this one. Danico and Scott Stevens, the combination for the Devils now. Puck into the seats. They can't play it there, so play a stop with 8:38 to go. In the third, Sikora with 2 goals, 1 assist. His team up by 2.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if you can only get a cab. Team needs new jerseys. Person has to deliver them overnight. Goes to post office. Finds express mail as a smart solution. Guarantees delivery. Jerseys arrive on time. Person avoids getting sacked.
These days, trying to get on top of your financial situation is getting tougher and tougher. What you need is someone with experience and know-how. MetLife can help you get a grip on things and help you make sense of it all. Get Met. It pays.
You know, this young man, I tell you, we talk about it, the goal scoring that he has, to be able to score in tight, but to score from the perimeter like this, using the defenseman as a screen, and I think that went off the defenseman's, the shaft of the stick, and possibly changed direction. But I tell you, when you have great hands like that, you're going to get the good bounces, and he just ripped that shot. He got a lot on it with a very short, tight little windup, and to be able to score from outside as well as in tight, boy, that's a gift.
But caught the crossbar, too.
Wow.
That kind of a rip. Lucky it didn't knock it off. I mean, he's really got it going. 2 goals and an assist tonight. Meanwhile, Bill Guerin is out now with Thomas and with Neil Broughton. Jacques Lemaire is pretty interesting with this tonight. He just had Danico and Stevens playing together on defense. Here's Kachuk. Kachuk with a shot. Save, Brodeur. Good strong save. Puck back to the point. McIver feds it in. Solani a shot. A good save made by Brodeur. But Martin Brodeur's had a solid game tonight in goal for New Jersey. Rolled back out. Manson comes up with it there. Solani couldn't play it through. It's Kachuk walking ahead. Keith Kachuk fed one in front. Off of Stevens. Score! How did he do it? Solani. 3-2 New Jersey.
Boy, I'm telling you, we're seeing some kind of goal-scoring exhibition here. You're right. How did he do it? He had eyes in the back of his head. He was well past the puck, out of position to the side of the net. And here's instincts again. You're going to watch this. Focus on number 8 here, White. He's going to come in from the right of your pitcher. And the puck, the rebound comes out to him. But I tell you, he just simply spins around and whacks at it. Oh, not only does he put it on net, but he chips it. He just, in an instant, he knew that Martin Brodeur was down. He had to get it up. All these things, the attributes of a goal scorer. And most people probably would have banged the pads, banged the drums there. But he knew he had the presence of mind to chip it up. Wow.
A goal and an assist tonight for the Finnish sensation, Teemu Solani. So for Solani on the year, in his 37th game, he has 53 points. Martin Brodeur sweeps it with the stick. Eastwood sent one for Shannon, and it went off the tip of Brodeur's stick. They jostle for possession. Ralston tried to sweep it along. It is Shannon. Hit by Carpenter. Shannon still trying to work with it. Aaron Shannon rolled it around. Eastwood took it behind. Eastwood had it knocked away. Down to the ice a pair. It is Shannon up with it again. They keep the pressure on. Puck tipped to the glass by Smith. Eastwood after it. Back onto McIver. Then to Eastwood again. Carpenter closed him off. The puck squirted loose. Ralston wanted to brush it out. Got it as far as neutralized. 6:53 to go. The Jets back to within 1. Manson moving in. It is Manson throwing one in front. They score! No! And it's a tie game!
I think that went off of Scott Niedermayer's stick, if I'm not mistaken, Doc. I mean, it happened in the blink of an eye, and it was Doan who was breaking to the net. Manson just blew it there. I just saw Scott Niedermayer's body English, and it just as if he dropped his arms, tried to pick off the pass, and he ramped it up over Martin Brodeur. Take Manson here, as the puck is going to break down. Focus in front. Scott Niedermayer's in front of the net. We'll see if it goes off of his stick.
Yeah, you're right. I think it did.
Didn't even get to Doan. Wow. Tough break for the Devils. But there you go. Throw the puck at the net. Things happen.
Boy, oh boy. You think it's Solani's. I mean, that's like an 80-foot shot at the end of a basketball game. Those kind you got to give them. And then this one. that went off a Devils defenseman's stick. 3-3. The third largest crowd of the year by our box score calculations. 13,003 watching in Winnipeg tonight. And they're pretty happy right now.
Boy, the crowd is into it, and the Jets are responding, playing inspired hockey right now.
Boy, Mike Peluso's got a number, and he's having a talk with Stapleton as you watch Holik test with Jamnoff. Peluso went in, rammed into Quint. There's going to be a penalty. The penalty is going to be against the Devils. Peluso is very upset, but he'll have to go to the box. And so it is 3-3. Peluso will sit, and the Jets will go on the power play.
Well, you're right. He did take a number. It was Mike Stapleton took a run at Mike Peluso down in the Devils zone. And Peluso, I think, was trying to blow a little steam off. He took a run at Garrett Quint, number 5 for Winnipeg. And he finds himself in the penalty box here for charging. I think he just came cruising in, and he got the elbows up a little high. And Andy Van Helmont, actually, I was watching it. Van Helmont was not in the picture, but he had his eye on Peluso the length of the ice. Just sort of watching what he was going to do. And I think Michael just said, I think I disagree with you there on that one.
The first of the 2 goals that came quickly within 58 seconds. Solani's 22nd from Kachuk and Manson. That at 12:15. Manson unassisted at 13:13 with his third. And the game is tied at 3. Kachuk hands over. It's taken by Solani. Solani flips one in front. Save Brodeur. Rebound. And Kachuk was held back so he couldn't get there. Jamnoff flips one. Save. Another shot and a save. And that Devil confidence that was so strong early. Martin Brodeur is one of the guys that still has it.
That's right. He's done a great job. And I'll tell you, Neil Broughton made a subtle little move here on Kachuk in front of the net. Kachuk didn't quite get to a rebound. You're going to watch the shot here. Watch number 7 White to the right of your screen. Try to go for the rebound, and Broughton just hooks the stick a little. Puck is back out front. And the Devils are running around a little. And there's Olczyk right in front of the net, finding himself, got in behind the defenseman. And anytime there's a shot from the point, the defensemen really have to take people. They can't be watching the puck. You got to spin around and try to box out people, and you got people responsibility.
Kachuk on the draw with Broughton. Stevens past McLean. Jostles with Newman, and it's sent right back down again. Devils have Broughton as well as John McLean to kill off up front. Stevens working in back with Chambers. Rushing it ahead now is Jamnoff along with Ed Olczyk. Puck came over to Solani. Solani fed one. Newman unable to keep. Wrist one in front. Save Brodeur. Loose puck. Over to Jamnoff. On a rising shot. Got the glass. Played back but not out. Jamnoff curling with it again. Put it into Broughton. Olczyk had it knocked away by Broughton and back to the safety of neutral ice. Man, back on now for Solani. Solani with plenty of time to work on this power play. Game tied at 3. Teemu Solani. Half-hearted pass is taken by Carpenter. Led to Richer. Richer moving for it, but we get a stoppage of play. Andy Van Hellemond is going to take a player off. Headed to the penalty box is Ed Olczyk. And for the Devils, Scott Stevens.
That's been some little funny stuff going on behind the play, because I watch in front of the net. You can see Olczyk trying to establish position, and we talk about Stevens with man responsibility. There we go. Yep, take this, take that, you're it. And they both find themselves in the penalty box. So I was just watching Richer explode up the ice. I completely took my eye off what was happening behind.
Olczyk and Stevens with the minors at 15:29.
The Devils Stevens, the Jets Olczyk, 2 minutes for slashing at 15:20.
Slashing penalties apiece. They've added an assist on the third Devils goal. Initially it was Sikora from Dean only, but it is now Dean and Guerin. But a lot's happened since Sikora got that one, and it was only about 15 minutes on our watch ago. Under 4.5 to go, third period. Just over half a minute to go on this power play. Newman banged one ahead, got it over near Solani, but it's Niedermeyer, pestered by Solani. Puck drubbed off the boards by Dean. Jamnoff really hit by Carpenter. Jamnoff stunned by that, but is still in the play and has it. Back to the point, McIver. Then to Jamnoff again. Jamnoff to McIver, to Jamnoff. Kachuk at the front of the net. Shot! Deflected by Kachuk. Kachuk has to take, yanks a pass that'll be taken by McIver and kept at the line. Then along to Jamnoff, 3 seconds to go, power play. Jamnoff with a big shot, save made by Brodeur, and Solani was waiting at the side of the net. Puck dumped back up the wall, and it's Newman in neutral ice. So the penalty has been served by Peluso. Shift change on, full strength hockey now. Solani moving with it. Solani checked by one. Niedermeyer, or rather Sikora, wanted to start ahead. Flipped on now, Manson, right back for Steve Thomas to take. Thomas ahead for a blast that's blocked away by Tim Chevelday. Quint to play it for Winnipeg, but he gave it away to Guerin. Tried to center, but that fails. Bill Guerin wanting to stagger away, does. Guerin around behind. Get it back to the point. Chambers there. Shot, kicked back out by the defense. Taken by Doan. Shane Doan, rookie forward, got it ahead for Eastwood. Brodeur out of his goal to play this one. Off of Chambers, forced behind for Shannon. Shannon defended by Ken Danico. Given a shove, but it's Shannon still. Chambers jostles with Eastwood. Tried to put it off the back of the goal. Loose puck, they score! Unbelievable! It is 4-3 Winnipeg in what looked like a harmless play.
It was one of those bad bounces. It looked like Martin Brodeur didn't quite have his foot up against the post. And from behind the net, it just sort of found its own opening. Squeezed in off the back of Martin's foot. This is just sheer determination here. Watch Martin Brodeur's left leg up against the post from inside the net. And you can just see it just found its own opening. Now, whether it got between the foot and the post, or this near foot, the 5-hole off his goalie stick, possibly. That's just one of those, one of the bounces of the game that happens, and that was just sheer will and determination there on Eastwood's part.
For Eastwood on the year, his 5th. For Winnipeg on the night, their 4th. Not long ago, it was 3-1 New Jersey. Take a look at that.
Let's go, Devils!
It's a big game for the Devils. The fans are ready. The ice is ready. And they're ready to drop the puck.
Hey, Devils fans, celebrate the hottest game in town with the coldest beer on ice. Unbelievable! Smooth, refreshing Bud Ice, the official beer of the NHL.
During the Nissan National Clearance, we're teaching all our salespeople to say, yes!
Yes!
For just about anything. Say you want to lease a Nissan Maxima with 0 down.
With enthusiasm. Yes! Yes!
And let's say you want payments of just $299 a month.
Yes!
Or maybe you want a Pathfinder for 0 down and $299 a month.
Yes!
And you want to take your time.
No!
Right. The Nissan National Clearance ends January 2nd.
Eastwood's goal from Shannon at 17-12. 4-3 Winnipeg. Go Jets go is the chant. Zelepukin to Broughton and back in. Quint was on Broughton with the hit. Zelepukin able to play it freely. Takes his own pass on the wall. Zelepukin rolled it behind. Manson past Zelepukin. 2 of the Jets were going to get there first, but it came near Brodeur. Back up to McLean. McLean again. Trouble. Gillen on him. Wedged him off. Good battling by Gillen. Smith forced deeper by King. So Niedermeyer with 2 minutes to play. Niedermeyer's pass is on to John McLean. McLean just lobbed it back in. Chevelday and then Quint. Along for Solani. Kept alive, though, by Kevin Dean. Flipped one on to John McLean. McLean a shot. Pad stop Chevelday. Rebound off of Solani. Solani couldn't get it out. Sikora with it there. On to Dean. Fires, deflected wide by Zelepukin. Loose puck. Solani trying to get his stick loose. Plays it back long, but it went off Sikora. Jammed off. Yanked it back down. 90 seconds to go. There'll be an icing. Chambers with the touch. 1:27 to go, third period, 4-3 Jets. Answered the MetLife trivia question. The last coach of the last AFCO World Trophy awarded by the WHA here in Winnipeg was the Bomber, Tom McPhee, with Terry Raskowski as they celebrated the title.
That's right. He had some great years in Winnipeg here.
Well, the Devils have a great night on their last night in Winnipeg. They had a 3-1 lead, but in the span of 4 minutes and 57 seconds, it became 4-3 Jets on some really strange plays. So, Sikora with Guerin and with Thomas. Stevens and Chambers, the point men. Shortly, they'll be getting Martin Brodeur off, or they will try to. And Sikora. Guerin back to the point. Stevens quickly to Chambers. One-timer is wide. Guerin hustles to it, so does Stevens. Stevens able to keep it alive, held back for a moment. Stevens brushes at it, got it to Thomas. Yanked around to Stevens once again. Flipped one in front. Steve Thomas tries to chase this one down, nudged it back to Chambers for a shot, went off a glove. Gillen up with that one, nicely taken away by Thomas. Thomas controlling for the Devils, back on the point to Chambers. Still in the goal is Brodeur. Wrapped on around, Peter Sikora takes it, then on to Thomas again. Thomas hooked one around in front. Thrown off by McIver. Chambers keeps it. Brodeur now is headed to the bench. Around behind for Bill Guerin. Puck taken by McIver along to Stapleton. Jammed it back out. Richer is the sixth attacker, and he takes it. Rolls it along, but it's McIver up with it. The net empty. McIver pickforks one wide. Dean takes with 38 to go. Kevin Dean bringing it back up for the Devils defense. Threw it past John McClain. Lifted back out. Off a glove of Niedermeyer. Played by Dean again. Back out. It's punched along further by Niedermeyer. Canceled out by Manson. Taken by Zelepukin. 23 to go as they play it around and pour back in. Niedermeyer to play it there. Pitches it off the glass. Around behind. Broughton sparring for it. Still they scrap. It's knocked away by Niedermeyer's side of the net. Chevrolet couldn't come up with it. McClain. Oh, and a pass out in front. Solani with it. Across now to Keith Kachuk. Striding after it. Empty net. Score!
Well, I tell you, that's just an exclamation point for the effort that the Jets poured out their hearts here to try to come back, and successfully did against New Jersey. And Jacques Robert is not too pleased about that. In a 3-1 lead, Jets scored 4 unanswered goals. And it was the big line that got him back in the game, Timo Solani. And then Kachuk just sort of putting the final period to the whole thing with the empty netter.
18 shots for the Jets in the third period, 7 for New Jersey. The game ends with celebration here, but a tremendous disappointment to the Devils, who had a 3-1 lead. Before Solani got a miracle goal, Manson got one off a defenseman. Eastwood with a surprising bounce when he was behind the end line, and then Kachuk into the empty net. Weird. Final score, Jets 5, Devils 3. Sports Authority game time is underway with Matt Loughlin.
Doc, the Knicks gave it a good go tonight in Landover. Playing without the injured Patrick Ewing, Don Nelson's team took Washington to overtime. But the Bullets prevail in the extra session. 127-120 your final score. Anthony Mason with 30 points and 7 boards, but in a losing effort. We'll have the highlights later on, but there's more business to take care of in Winnipeg. And we'll get you right back there after this brief break. Tonight, the Devils lose to Winnipeg by a score of 5-3. Devils coach is not happy on Wednesday with a 5-3 win over the Islanders. Ooh, they'll be upset after this one.
Now you can get friends and family's biggest savings by not doing anything at all. You don't have to name anyone. You automatically get our best savings whenever you call any other MCI customer.
What you're really saying is that I could sit here on my Tookus and save on my long distance, right?
You could say that.
Cool. Could you tell me where you are? I feel a little odd.
Myrtle Beach, #1 for golf and family entertainment. Call Myrtle Beach Jet Express at 1-800-FUN-TUCSON and fly nonstop jet service from New York to Myrtle Beach from only $79. And starting March 2nd, fly nonstop from Islip from only $79. Now's the perfect time for secluded beaches and to see some of the biggest names in entertainment. We even make it easy to visit Myrtle Beach with great vacation packages from only $199. Only on Myrtle Beach Jet Express. Fly Myrtle Beach Jet Express right now and get 2 days of free golf. Call 1-800-FUN-TUCSON today.
With a newly enhanced Vortec 4300 V6 engine and available push-button four-wheel drive, the GMC Jimmy can handle virtually anything you might encounter on the road. But you may appreciate Jimmy even more for its ability to get you out of your own driveway. For a great lease offer, visit your Tri-State GMC truck dealer today.
If you're a golf fanatic, join the club, Club Golf. Every week, you can tour the world's finest golf resorts, preview new equipment, and get tips that will improve your game. Sports Channel Club Golf, every Saturday and Monday. Coming up, New Year's Eve on Sports Channel. The Islanders collide with Pat LaFontaine and Buffalo. On New Sport, Jacques Lemaire's Devils battle the Blackhawks in Chicago. Celebrate New Year's with great NHL action, only on Sports Channel.
The Devils continue to be a puzzle. Every time you think they've turned the corner and they're about to return to the form that led them to the Stanley Cup, they pull off a third period like tonight in Winnipeg. They give up 5 goals to the Jets. They blow a 3-1 lead. They find themselves on the losing end of a 5-3 final. Back to the Winnipeg Arena and Doc and Doug.
A mystifying finish to this contest, but some of it brought about by flukes and some of it by true works of art. As we look at our Bud Player of the Game, we're speaking of a work of art.
That's right. It was Timo Selänne as our Bud Player of the Game, and he was the guy who got these guys back on track, made it 3-2 at this goal. And we talked about the instincts of a goal scorer. We were talking about the Devils' Peter Sikora, but watch this man, number 8 in white. Just spins around and instinctively chips it up over Martin Brodeur in a blink of an eye. Not only did he get a stick on the puck, but he knew where to go with it.
Well, Timo Selänne has joined us downstairs, and Timo, thanks, congratulations. Glad to have you here. This is probably the stupidest question you're going to hear this year. How do you do something like that last goal? How did you do that?
Well, I knew that puck is somewhere there, and I didn't have a chance to control the puck, so I just tried to hit the net, and it was a little bit lucky, but this victory was very important for us, so that's why I'm happy.
That has to be an inspiration for you guys to come back down 3-1 against the Devils, and now it's got to give you a shot in the arm. That seems to be what you've needed.
Oh, for sure. We know that Devils, they play so well defensively that it's hard to score against them, but last period we all players wanted to work a little bit harder and believe that we can win, and this was very important for us.
During the course of the game, Teemu, did you sense in this third period one particular play all of a sudden brought your team back into it? Was it that goal?
Yeah, I hope so. Like sometimes teams just need that kind of goal, and everybody get more energy and we get more jumps. So every goal is very important, and every time when I'm doing it or my teammate do something good on the ice, I think it's giving more energy for the other players.
You guys seem to have great chemistry. The line that's put together there, Eddie Olchuk and Tkachuk, you guys seem to have blended. Was that something that you took off right away, or did it take a little while to get it going?
Well, I think after 5-6 games, Terry seems to put us together, and that line has played pretty well now, and we are very happy that we can play well and we get a lot of ice time, and we just have to keep going and try to win the games.
Playing pretty well, boy, that's an understatement. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Teemu Selänne, our guest here, following a game in which his team has erupted from a 3-1 deficit to win it 5-3 on work like that. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
During the Nissan National Clearance, we're teaching all our salespeople to say, yes! Yes! For just about anything. Say you want to lease a Nissan Altima for 0 down.
With enthusiasm, yes! Yes!
And let's say you want payments of $219 a month.
Yes!
Or maybe you want 0% financing on any Nissan Altima.
Yes!
And you want to take your time.
No!
Right. The Nissan National Clearance ends January 2nd.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if you can only get a cab. Team needs new jerseys. Person has to deliver them overnight. Goes to post office. Finds express mail is a smart solution. Guarantees delivery. Jerseys arrive on time. Person avoids getting sacked.
Are you lost in a financial jungle? What you need is someone who knows the ropes. Someone you can count on for advice and financial information. MetLife can help you tame the risks and help you make sense of it all. Get Met. It pays.
Post-game here at Winnipeg Arena, where the fans have left happily and the Devils have walked off the ice stunned, as have we at the developments in that final period. You've seen Teemu Selanne's remarkable goal that made it 3-2. That was not considered our Nissan turning point of the game, though. That came just a little bit later.
That's right. Here's the score, 3-2 after Selanne's goal. And then you're going to see Dave Manson, number 4 with Winnipeg, comes down and ties the score up 3-3 on a very funny bounce. Watch Scott Niedermayer. He tries to stop this pass in front, and it goes up over Martin Brodeur, not up over your shoulder, but off the crossbar and in. It was unbelievable, the bad bounce that the Devils got there, and boy, they tell you, the Jets just took off there from that point on.
6:47 were left in the third period at that point. The game was tied at 3. There was a little bit of back and forth play, but it was mostly the Jets, an inspired team by that point. And then a strange sort of development from behind the net, where the puck wound up going off the back of the net. And then some even stranger things happened. That is our MCI proof positive replay. Let's look at it again.
That's right. It was just a very determined effort by the Winnipeg Jets down low. And the puck comes from behind the goal line off of Martin Brodeur's stick and then in between his legs right here. Somehow it deflects off the heel of his stick, and you'll just see it trickle in from behind the net. And that was just sheer determination. The Jets took the puck hard to the net. And the Devils did their best in their defense, did their best to try to check from the inside out and establish defensive positioning. But I tell you, with the determined effort, and they were inspired, they just willed that puck in the net.
Well, you mentioned earlier that historically the Devils have always played well in Chicago. It's a good thing, because this is one of the real exasperating games that they've probably played since they won the championship. And when you have this good a hold and they're playing that well and then see it dissolve, they've just got to be mystified.
Well, that's right. You know, and especially after the holiday break and then the comeback, and we talked about the business-like attitude, or the feeling, the sense of they had things in control, they can see the finish line, and they've turned the corner on the second half of the year psychologically. This has got to be a shot to them. They got to get back on their back up on their feet, and probably the best medicine for them is to go into Chicago, a big game there.
Okay, we'll look forward to bringing that one to you on New Year's Eve. Final score in this contest from Winnipeg Arena tonight, 13,003 fans were here. Teemu Selanne looked to the heavens. His team was behind by 1 at this point. They won by 2. Back to you, Matt Lachlan.
All right, Doc, that game against the Blackhawks will be carried on New Sport, and you can start your countdown to 1996, beginning at 8:15 with game time. Doc and Doug on the call. The opening face-off from the United Center is set for just past 8:30. Well, the Blackhawks prepared for that game with the contest against Buffalo this evening. When we come back, we'll tell you what transpired in upstate New York when we check out the NHL scoreboard. The Devils prepared for the Blackhawks in a most unusual way. They dropped the game to the Jets, 5-3.
Put on your helmet. Huh? Because this year, Bud Bowl's putting you in the game. Huh? You could win a Wilson football. Cool. Or even $1 million. Whoa. Hey, you. Oh, me? Yeah. Look, it's first down, and one of these 6 plays will score. Knock it in there. Whoa. End around. That's easy.
Yeah, just got to get by us.
Pick up your $1 million play card where you buy Bud, Bud Light, and Bud Ice. He's fine. Cupcake, I got 5 more plays. Get up.
You never really know when you'll need cash. That's why you need a Discover card. Use your card to get cash during business hours from financial institutions and select merchant locations, or 24 hours a day from thousands of ATMs. The Discover card. Because when you need cash, timing is everything. It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
This Saturday and Sunday only, in every Nobody Beats the Wiz store, all open box merchandise is on sale. Save 10 to 60% on thousands of TVs and VCRs, thousands of audio components and camcorders, thousands of cameras, portables, and computers. All brand new and all on sale. These are brand new, undamaged, unused displays or demos, some repaired, and they're all on sale. This Saturday and Sunday only, save 10 to 60% on open box merchandise. Nobody beats